giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. We back. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness. Streaming live each and every day. Maybe not every day. Weekday. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Personal things had to do yesterday, so I wasn't able to come on and talk about all this goodness, but I'm back. I'm back, and we're going to dive into a lot of what the legends had to say about this game, because I thought some of it was very relevant. Sometimes Mike, Uncle Mike, he can be a little crazy, but he said some things that I thought was very, very relevant and prevalent, and we'll get into that. Troy Aikman spoke up. Kurt Warner spoke up. Got to check out Kurt's stuff. So we'll detail some of that, as well as some of the things that Mike McCarthy had to say in his press conference that, I'm not going to lie to y'all, has me looking at him a little sideways. Yeah. I'm looking at Mike a little sideways right now. Not too confident in that end of the season presser. Now, again, it's a press conference. It is what it is. But he did detail some things that made me say, huh? Like, come on, Freaky Mike, as my guy Jesse Holly would say. And then it is Fan Friday. So we'll bring back the mailbag segment that we used to do every so often. We'll do that more often in the off season. And it's a way for you guys to get your takes out there, your questions, and then be featured on the show. So I got about 6 questions from the mailbag we'll detail throughout this show. And, of course, we'll open the phone lines a little bit today. If you don't know the phone line number, let me get it up here. Here you go. 351-999-3787. 351-999-3787. Throughout the mailbag, throughout the day, we'll open the lines and talk. I see my guy Foots is in the building. Speaking of some off-season stuff, we're probably going to do some more draft things that we did last year. I think Foots might have been the first person I did the on-the-clock draft series with. I can't remember, but I think it was you, Foots. I think we did safeties. So I know where to go for my safety portion of the show. So we'll detail that sometime. We'll get together and figure it out. But this week, today, we put a bow on the 2022 Wildcard loss. And then next week, we start to dive into different segments. Like I said, the structure of the show is going to probably be different moving forward, so we can get into the offseason talk. I let myself have a week to deal with this loss, a week to kind of get through the 2021 season in regards to leading up to the wild card loss. And unfortunately, it's time to move on at some point. So after today, obviously we'll talk about the 2021 season, but after today, that's it, man. This will be the first weekend of no Cowboys football since week 8, week 9, whenever the bye week was. So it'll be real strange, but it's here. I see. It really didn't hit me until today that, damn, this is it, man. There's no Cowboys ball to prepare for anymore. This is it, So no Cowboys actual games until August. It sounds depressing, but the offseason can be fun, and we're gonna make it fun. I promise you. All right, let's get to some shout-outs prior to the roundup. AJ Torres, Stevie Mac, the Mod God, Anthony Moore, Sully, Miss Charlene, Professor O. What's up, Professor O? Come on, man. I'm doing it. Here we go. Frankie Franchise, Paul, cannot pronounce that one there. Will Anthony Stage, KHY001. What's up? Matt Goddix, our members. Shout out to our members that have been in here too, by the way. I told you I was going to try to do some different things this offseason. Who else we got here? Boxster, Captain America, Stage, Carson Smith, my guy Foots in the building, Irvin, Adam, Matt, Primetime Phil, Antoine Okafor, what's up? Lawrence Moore, J Mart Fishing. Over here on Facebook, Junior, Leos, Lance, Bell, Mo, Z, CJ Richards. What's up, CJ? Put in a PTO recording. Peter Rizzo, Mosey, and the many, many more coming through. I will upload the audio on, where we at? Boom, right here on one of those podcasting platforms later. So make sure y'all tune into that. Or if you want to listen to Mauricio's show from last night, if you missed it, he uploaded the audio on there as well. Good morning, Mary. Good morning, Miss Sheila. My guy, Mel Hayes, just jumped in the building. Let's jump this thing off with the roundup, and then we'll come out of it talking about some of the things that these legends had to say about these Dallas Cowboys.
Look at them, it's about that time.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time! It's time! It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
This is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. Real quick, I want to switch something up. A solution for your fitness goals, whether it be weight loss, strengthening up, toning up, sports, or stress relief. Strive for progress, not perfection. Fitness goals are not accomplished with one workout. Progress towards your goals with Texas Family Fitness. You can check out Texas Family Fitness at any of the 9 locations in the DFW area or visit texasfamilyfitness.com. Bear with me real quick. Low-key building a plane while it's in the air. Boom. Now we good to go. First up, the Giants now add their name to the list of teams that want to interview Dan Quinn. And we talked about this a few weeks ago, right? When we figured that Joe Judge was going to be fired, or when he was fired. He said, be on the lookout for the Giants coming for Dan. He's from New Jersey. He's around from that area. I mean, that team is not that good to me, but hey, head coaching job is a head coaching job. So Dan Quinn is added to the list. Everyone wants Dan Quinn. There's 8 openings, right? 8 or 9 openings. Probably 7 or 8 of them, all of them, want Dan Quinn at least to interview the guy. So to put it lightly, guys, I don't think Dan Quinn is going to be back. Put it this way. The odds of him returning are slim to me. I would love to keep Dan, but I'm kind of prepping in my head that he's not going to be here. I think the way to keep him here, honestly, is to fire Mike McCarthy and make him the head coach. I don't see any other way. If Dan wants to be a head coach, there are 8 opportunities out there at least. I'm sure there's one that he looks at as a solid opportunity and will likely take it if he wants to be a head coach. Now, our friend Brian Broaddus of 105 Through the Fan, former Dallas Cowboys scout, he says he likes Mike Zimmer as a guy to keep an eye on outside the building as a candidate. And we've talked about Zim here a bunch once we realize, hey, there's a possibility that Dan Quinn could be gone. And I'm still on the fence about Mike Zimmer. And it's not because I don't think he's a good defensive mind, because he is. But I had a feeling that, is he out of touch with the players? And then you hear actual Minnesota Viking leaders and players come out and talk about a culture problem in Minnesota. So that's what makes me a little worried about Mike Zimmer being your defensive coordinator in Dallas. I don't want another Mike Nolan situation, right? I don't want another Mike Nolan situation. The players didn't buy in with Mike. He wasn't in touch with today's game. Here's what Minnesota Viking leader Eric Kendricks had to say about the cultural situation in Minnesota. He said, I quote, "I think from an overall standpoint, you want a culture where communication is put at the forefront, and no matter what your role is on the staff, you having a voice and being able to communicate things that you think could help facilitate wins," Kendrick said. I think just having that voice, no matter how big your role is important to listen up and take each other's feelings into account. I don't think a fear-based organization is the way to go. sounds very old schooly, sounds very Mike Nolan-y, and I get it. You know, there's a lot of fans who love that old school mentality. And listen, some aspects of football, you got to keep the old school feel, right? But what made Dan Quinn so successful here was not having that complete old school, you know, grab you by the face mask, throw you in the dirt, what I say goes, shut up type of mentality. He was able to connect with his defense in a way that they wanted to play for Dan. They didn't want to let Dan down. And when you do that, you're able to get the most out of your players, whether it be a star, whether it be a good player, whether it be a role player or a backup guy. So you got to be careful. Mike Zimmer is a good defensive mind, but if he can't come in here and the players do not take into what he's saying because he can't reach them, that could be another Mike Nolan situation. Mike McCarthy spoke at his presser. And again, we'll go over some of the things he said. Some of it just a little sideways here. But one of the things was about his play calling situation here. Mike says, there's no plan to overtake play calling responsibility. I don't think that's the best way to run an offense. A person who installs it, calls it. And as of right now, that's offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. As of right now. Again, there's 8 openings. There's a lot more qualified head coaching candidates to me than Kellen Moore. I know how I feel. Been saying it for multiple years. Not a head coach guy to me. But me personally, I hope he gets an opportunity so that we can move forward on the offensive coordinator from the offensive coordinator standpoint. Now, there's a question later in the mailbag that we'll get to about candidates and things like that. But for those that wanted Mike McCarthy to call plays, sounds like that's not going to happen. And I just have to think, man, for a guy that called plays his whole life, his whole career, I get when he came here, they cut his nuts off and made Kellen, all right, listen, whatever, Kellen's here. But if Kellen's not here anymore, what's the excuse of not calling plays? And it goes back to what we've been saying forever. To me, that means Jerry is not allowing him to call plays. I think Jerry wants a walk-around head coach. Jerry, Steven, whoever. So if Kellen goes, whoever they bring in as offensive coordinator, they're going to allow that person to be the OC, install the game, whatever. And honestly, as long as it's a guy that I like, you know, me personally, I'm just speaking personally, or a guy that is respected or a guy that is proven or a scheme that's proven, I don't give a damn. I'm cool with that. Because I don't know what Mike McCarthy is as a play caller in this new Mike McCarthy era. But if you get me a guy that has a proven system, I'm good with that. Some other things that he said in his press conference. Ezekiel Elliott played on a PCL injury since week 4. I mean, you can't make this up. He played on a PCL injury since week 4, and he says no surgery is required. Rest will do. Well, coach, if rest will do, why didn't you rest him? If rest will do, why didn't you give the ball to Tony Pollard more? It doesn't really make any sense to me. And I'm not saying rest him at the end, you know. But week 18, did he really need to play? I get you 1,000 yards, I guess. Week 6 to 8, did he really need to play? Maybe those 3 weeks would have helped Dallas later down the stretch. I don't know. I'm just thinking of some common sense things, Cowboys Nation. Just thinking of some common sense things. Why not rest him? Nonetheless. And then the one that really got me kind of like, come on here, and most of Cowboys Nation is that McCarthy said he sensed that there was some nervousness around the team. Then he tried to retract it and say anxious and all this stuff. First of all, this to me, this is equivalent to Xavier Woods coming out and saying, yeah, man, you know, we don't go 100% every play. And then we dubbed him Mr. 75%. Coach, we understand there's nervousness. We understand. We get it. You don't need to be telling us that there's nervousness. You need to be telling us how you got the team ready to play. Because you telling me that there's nervous feelings and then the Cowboys come out down 13-0 or whatever it was. And the way they came out, and you said that nervous feeling had part to do with how they came out. I'm putting that on you, coach. Meanwhile, a guy named Debo and Trent Williams are leading their team out, out the locker room to Kodak Black Super Gremlin. Wow. Honestly, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Me and Jesse were looking at that as it was happening. We showed each other our phones like, yo, do you see this? We just kind of gave each other that. And let me just look at you real quick. We kind of gave each other that. Hey, dog. Love my boys. They coming out like that. We coming out to AC/DC. Let me give a shout out to my son real quick because he calls that music the headbanger song. We coming out to the headbanger song. Them boys is coming out with the boombox with a guy named Debo to Kodak Black Super Gremlin. You think they was nervous? Yeah, look, Kai 001 said we came out to Tim McGraw. Hey, get out of here, man. Let me get back to this roundup. Y'all tripping. We're coming out to Tim McGraw. What is going on over there in that building? Got no swag. Let me move on to the next part because coach, and we'll talk about it in the roundup, in the mailbag segment. We got a question about coach. Got some theories. Then finally, like I said, the legends sound off on the Dallas Cowboys this week. And I want to start off with Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin said this: every team you look at, the stars of the team showed up and played ball. You can't win in this game if your stars don't show up and play. Emmett and I stood in that tunnel before every game, and we looked at each other and we called ourselves double trouble. Before we hit the field, we said if we don't show up, we got no chance. Our stars didn't show up Sunday. Whenever you have disorder, you get dysfunction. They had star players playing like role players, and that's why they got their butts sent home. Yeah, that's one way to put it. That's one way to put it. I love listening to Michael Irvin talk, man. Whether it's good or bad about the Cowboys, man, it's coming from the heart. And he's a 3-time Super Bowl champion. He knows what it takes to win in this league, to win Super Bowls. Super Bowls, I use the S at the end. But then you got Cowboys being nervous in that tunnel. Coming out to George Strait. All my exes live in Texas. Meanwhile, Super Gremlin. That just bugs me, Cowboys. It just bugs me, Biggest game of the year. Not only is your game plan trash, your preparation seems to be trash, and you're not ready right before kickoff. I don't get it. I'm with you, Peter. Nervous equals not prepared. Clearly. They clearly weren't prepared. Clearly. Troy Aikman also talked about the Dallas Cowboys situation, which, by the way, go listen to that whole interview if you can on the ticket. And then after that, we'll get to Kurt Warner's. And guys, y'all got to watch the Kurt Warner breakdown. But we'll get to him in a second. I want to play real quick Troy Aikman, just some of his audio when he joined the ticket. He talked about schemes around the league, the Cowboys scheme and game plan in this game. And he basically echoes what we've been talking about here on this channel with other community content creators been talking about, what fans been talking about, and hell, what former players have been talking about with this scheme, and then with the quarterback that is connected to it. So take a listen to Troy Aikman.
But what I see around the leagues, not just Dallas, it was in Philadelphia, I've seen it with a lot of teams, that a lot of these offenses, they want to scheme things. The coordinators it's all about scheme. Rather than this corner is playing soft, he's scared to death, just run the route tree. Just run a comeback, run a dig route, run a curl, run anything. And you're going to complete the pass whenever you want. And Urban would have had 10 catches at halftime if they had played us the way that they played CeeDee Lamb in that game. So I just don't quite understand that. It's interesting. I was at Madden's memorial service yesterday in Oakland, and Peyton Manning was there. And we got to talking about the game, and I was having this conversation with him, and he agreed that, more and more you just see that teams, the game's not that difficult. If I've got a great player at wide receiver and a corner is playing him single coverage, throw him the ball.
Yeah.
He's going to win most of the time, and that's what they do in Green Bay with Devontae Adams. But for some reason, a lot of other teams, including Dallas in that game on Sunday, and I'm sure that the coaches go back and look at that and say, man, why didn't we do that? They did a couple times. They hit the one catch he had, and then they had another one where the DB played it pretty well. But for the most part, they just didn't take advantage of some of the looks that I think they had and they could have.
That sounds very familiar, right? I mean, it's nothing new. It's nothing new here between Kellen and Dak Prescott that I've been screaming for the last back half of the season. This offense is too schemy, and it's not like the scheme is great. You know what I'm saying? I can understand if it was the West Coast scheme that's been working, if it was an Andy Reid, if it was McVay, if it was whomever scheme is working. Doug Peterson at a point in time where his scheme was working, if it was Shanahan, obviously, things like that, right? LaFleur, yeah, sure, believe in the scheme. But it got to a point where, bro, this is not working. So now, like we said in the pregame show, if you want to look smart, Kellen, if you want to look great, Dak, get the ball to your best players. I don't really have another word for what I wish Dak had, and that was F it in his system. Some more in his system. Too coachable. Too nice. Do you think Troy and Tom and Aaron and these guys, if they were stuck in this, because we've literally seen Aaron Rodgers look to the sideline, and I'm not saying he's the great quarterback like that, but I'm just saying that mentality, and say, what the, no, we're not running this play, right? We've seen that happen. We need more of that. I don't like the relationship of Kellen and Dak. It's too close. It's too close. Kellen came out in his press conference and said, and I'm paraphrasing, yeah, everyone wants the ball. We can't narrow it down to one person, one or two people, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And I said when we had this conversation on the show, if he's saying that in the press conference, what do you think he's saying in the meeting rooms? And when you have a quarterback who is non-controversial, when you have a receiver and receivers who are non-controversial, what do you think is happening mentally as they go out there in that game? They're taking on what their coach is saying. I'll give you a prime example. John Kitna, who Cowboys Nation absolutely loved. We loved him before he was a coach because Kitna was a tough-as-nail quarterback that when we had our issues with Tony Romo getting injured every damn year, it seemed like, John Kitna was there a few years to give us a shot. Gutty guy. Gunslinger mentality, tough as nails. When John Kitna became the quarterback's coach, he brought that Mike Martz let-it-rip mentality to Dak. And you saw that early in games. So who's that guy in this system? Who's that offensive guy? It's not Doug Nussmeier. It's not him. It's not Kellen Moore. He didn't come from that. So you got your OC saying, hey man, you got to go through your progressions. We're going to run the system. We don't want to focus on one player. This is the focus on this play. You're focusing on this play. You missed that one-on-one. You focus over here, you miss the underneath. When just get it to your best players. Michael Irvin said it best. when your star players play like role players and your role players play like star players, you're not going to win. Not in the playoffs. Maybe against the Panthers, maybe against the Eagles, maybe against the Washington football people. Not in the playoffs. And I'll be honest with you. Naively, maybe the fandom overtook me going into that game. I thought, you know what, Kellen? You're going to go to your best players because you don't have a choice anymore. And when I say go to, I mean scheme to. But promise you, go watch Kurt Warner's breakdown of this game. And he even said it at the end. That wasn't even the entire game. He pretty much ripped apart the scheme. And then he pretty much ripped apart Dak's comfortability in it. He didn't look comfortable. And that affected him throughout the game. He missed reads underneath, which it wasn't like there was touchdown reads or what have you, but you had to beat them. I think Kurt said you wanted to beat them underneath. The game plan wasn't to beat them underneath. The game plan continued to be going deep. Matter of fact, let you listen to Kurt Warner a little bit. He joined 105 through the Fan to talk about that amazing breakdown. I don't have the let me see if Stevie Mac dropped it. I don't have the link, but Stevie Mac maybe can drop it. You guys check it out. It's long. It's 40 minutes, but it is well worth watching because, first of all, what I came away from that is good. I got immense respect for quarterbacks in this league. That is a lot that's a lot to deal with. And one of the things that I've always said was your scheme should make it easier on your quarterback, not harder. And dropping back 50 times, having to deal with that, I don't want to do that. I mean, for the money I would, but Jesus, I wouldn't want to deal with that. I mean, you can get me a scheme that, only threw the ball 17 times over there in L.A. and they won the game by 20 damn points. Something like that. But nonetheless, listen to Kurt Warner in the first word talk about joining 105 through the Fan and talking a little bit about, I think it was about the shell stuff. I think Broadus asked him about the shell stuff.
Kurt, is when you look at the Cowboys, and by the way, everything you explained is just absolute brilliance. I mean, thank you so much for going into those details you did. I mean, that was great. But we heard about the Cowboys maybe getting some looks where, they're talking about the shell coverages and stuff like that. Should simplistic things like that take them out of their offense the way that people were able to do that?
Well, I mean, again, shell coverages can be different things, but what the 49ers are based off of is what we call a quarters coverage. 4 guys deep, each guy taking a quarter of the field in the deep area of the field, which primarily leaves 3 guys in the underneath zones because that's your 7 guys, and then they rush 4. To me, a cover 4 defense, every offense should be able to exploit that. Now, certain defenses are better at it, and there's change-ups that they have within it, but it's a pretty, simple defense that when you've only got 3 guys to cover the underneath area of the field, you should be able to exploit that offensively. Now, a lot depends on, if I get a sack and now it's, 2nd 17, now that makes it harder because you got to attack down the field where they've got 4 guys covering the deeper areas of the field. But just in general, it's not an overcomplicated defense. 49ers are good at it. Their linebackers are really good at it. But there should be opportunities to attack that in every offense. When I was playing and I saw that quarters coverage, I said to myself, man, this is good for our whole playbook. There should be nothing in our playbook that isn't good against this particular coverage. And so in simplistic forms, that type of coverage or a shell type of coverage shouldn't take you out of your offense. Cover 2 can be a little bit different when they roll corners up and now they've got 5 guys underneath and 2 guys deep. Now you're forced to throw the ball down the field more. But that's where I thought, against the 49ers, you come out and you attack them underneath. You slow down their pass rush. You don't try to throw the football down the field the whole time because they're trying to prevent that.
Very well put by Kurt Warner. And again, I suggest going back and watching that entire video. It is extremely informative. It'll make you brighter as a fan, period. I mean, let's just be real. This is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Went to the Super Bowl with 2 different teams. Very intelligent guy. And hell, shoot, I wish we could We can bring somebody like that on this staff to coach up a quarterback like Dak, because coaching matters. It absolutely matters. But to paraphrase what he detailed in there, he talked about how we were running players directly into the zones. He doesn't like, he coaches too, I believe, high school or something. He doesn't like to send players into different parts of the zone in zone defense, because then they're covered. And then you had Dak Prescott a lot of the times holding on to the ball, waiting for the deep read to get open, because this offense is still very Eric Coryell-ish. It's very Eric Coryell-ish, which is you're going to read deep and then come back down. That is this offense, and it never, ever showed an ability to adjust. It worked the first 6 to 7 weeks of the season because teams weren't playing you that way. But then once they start playing you that way, you had to adjust, and you just never really did. Obviously, the easiest thing to do is to run the ball on it, because that's what the whole. Remember when we were doing this? Let me see if I still got it. The whole "how do you want it" was, all right, you want to play six or seven in the box, which is light-ish. We'll run it. The Cowboys couldn't even run on a 4-man front. The Cowboys couldn't run on 6 in the box. So now I know you can't even beat my 4 guys up front and my extra linebacker or 2. I don't need to respect your run game. Oh, now I know you're not going to stay committed to it in the playoffs. We talked about being balanced in the play. You cannot go into the playoffs trying to win 4 games in a row, run the ball less than 16 times in a game. Can't do it. Dallas makes it easier on opponents, on defenses. And I say this all the time. Dak is not Peyton Manning, y'all. Y'all know I believe in Dak. I believe y'all know that, right? But I'm also a realist. Also understand this ain't a man that, and I don't know how many quarterbacks can do it by themselves, so I'm not going to say that, but he's not a guy that you want to go to the line of scrimmage and throw the ball 50 times in a game or drop back 50 times in a game and have to call the entire game at the LOS. Hell, even the great quarterbacks don't do that. Snap in, snap out. And he ain't one of them just yet. He got a lot proven to do in that manner. So you got to help your Q out. And abandoning the run, throwing the rock 50 times, and not adjusting. I mean, there was a play, and I'll get to the phone lines, where if you go back and watch that Kurt Warner, we ran I think this play about 4 times. It was a 3-by-1, I believe, and sometimes we leaked the running back out on flat. We ran it 3 or 4 times, and it was clear as day. The very first time Fred Warner saw it, he knew it was coming. He knew. He beeline right back to his spot in the zone to take care of that curl route, and they did it over and over and over again and never ran a counter off of it. There was never a setup to it. When you go back and watch the Niners, they ran multiple plays that they set the Dallas Cowboys up with that came off a play action or a pass or a run that might have went left 2 times and it came right from the same look, from the same motion. People confuse being a good play designer as a good play caller. There's so much more that comes into it than just being able to design plays. And I just don't think my man is ready to be put up there just yet, because, and I'm admit it, I thought he was, because I hadn't seen him get punched just yet and counter. Great play callers have counters. I didn't see Dallas have that just yet. I didn't see Kellen have that just yet. All right, here's what we'll do. Gonna jump into the lines, y'all, and get a couple calls, and then we'll come out and we'll jump into the mailbag segment, which is presented by Freeman Mazda, by the way. So we got good news with one of our sponsors. But let's jump into the lines. I think Marcus was on the line first. What's up, Marcus?
Hey, what's going on, bro?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. It's one thing that's really stuck out in my mind with everything going on. I listen to a lot of YouTube content creators when it comes to the Cowboys. I love the fresh perspectives. Like, you got the doom and gloom ones, you got the optimists, you got the realists, whatever you want to call it. But it's a nice little mix.
Uh-huh.
But one actually stuck out to me, man, and I got to shout him out. Boss Cowboy Sports. excellent. He's really on the rise. I just want to see his growth. I mean, he reminds me a lot of you just because of his common sense approach. But he had a show a couple days ago, and one of his callers called in. He calls him Coach. He's always calls in.
Yeah, Coach Marv. I'm actually going to get to Coach Marv after you.
Oh, he's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And he said something that kind of shook me, and I had to go listen to the interview just to get some context, because context matters.
Yes, indeed.
And he said that Mike McCarthy has officially lost his team. And I was like, man, that's crazy. And when he gave me his breakdown, I went to the interview and heard it in its entirety. And then I thought about it. I'm like, man, Coach is absolutely right. He's officially lost his team, because this man blamed everybody but himself. He blamed Kellen Moore. He blamed the players. He blamed the referees. He took no responsibility as the coach. When you come out on national TV and talk about how scared your team was, what are you doing as the head coach? And then you admittedly say, I didn't do anything to remedy the situation. I didn't make any adjustments at all as the head coach. To me, that is straight beta behavior. I don't trust this man anymore. I gave him all the excuses. Oh, he lost Dak last year. Oh, COVID. Oh, this. I can't trust this man anymore, because when you can't take responsibility as the leader of your team, I don't expect the team to rise above what you're doing, because now you're the major hampering to the team. It's not the front office. It's not Kellen Moore. It's not the players. It's you. That then falls on you. What do you think?
No, one sec. No, you're right. That's why I said at the beginning of this, when I watched that press conference, it had me looking at him sideways. And I'm with you. I mean, I'm with Coach, I guess. He said that it seems like he lost the team. I don't know, because we don't have the players just yet. We haven't heard from them, or there's no game the next game. All we got is what we got, right? But, I mean, if there was a game next week, I'd be hard-pressed to think that they'd be all gung-ho with Mike McCarthy after hearing what he said. You know what I mean?
Yeah, think about it. Think about it, Scott. Like, even if they would have won, they pulled that game out at the end, and it would have been like a miraculous play. Would you have felt confident with them going into Green Bay?
Well, it'd have been Tampa, but no.
No, excuse me. Would you even feel better them going into Tampa the way that they played against San Francisco?
I said this on Monday. I said if even if they would have won a Hail Mary, because I wasn't standing up all excited on that last drive, because I'm like, I didn't believe in it. The way things were going, it was just one of those weird games. But even if they would have did it, like I said, I'd have been excited. I'd have been happy. We'd have talked about it, and then me and Jesse, and this is where people hate us in the post-game show, because we start talking about where to get better. People don't like to hear that. But as soon as we were done with the emotions, we'd have said, you can't play like that next week, because you can't have 14 penalties. You can't run the ball 16 times. You can't get on at the line of scrimmage. You can't miss your reads. You can't have that game plan. You cannot come out flat. You can't do any of those things next week against Tom Brady. So, no, I wouldn't have had an immense confidence. Now, maybe that confidence would have came back middle of the week, but that would have been, in my opinion, the 49ers. You know how they always say, well, did the 49ers win it or did the Cowboys win? It would have been the 49ers lost that game more than the Cowboys winning it, in my opinion.
Right. And they would have been right. And one last thing I got to say, man, we talk about narratives. That's a word that's been thrown out a lot, 2021, 2020. Oh, they got a narrative against the Cowboys. They got a narrative against blah, blah, blah. But when you come out and you do exactly what the narrative says, it's no longer a narrative. It's just reality.
It is.
So it is what it is. But when you say that, you're doom and gloom, you're negative. It's like, no, I'm literally looking with my eyes. Like, they want to try to tell us, like, hey, do you believe us or do you believe your lying eyes? I believe my lying eyes, because you're putting out the product that I see and I don't feel confident.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
The narrative won't change, really, Marcus, until they win in the playoffs. And here's the thing, and why I'm okay with Cowboys fans being frustrated. Hell, I'm pissed off too. I can't come on here and scream and yell every day like certain other.
No, don't do that, man. That's not your style, bro.
No, I'm not going to. I do all that stuff off air during the game. But and I get it. I get the frustration because here's the thing.
Right.
As Cowboys fans, we've been through this for multiple decades, almost 3. As Cowboys players, it's been for some of them 1 year, some of them 2 years, some of them just 5 years. You know, they only got 3-4 years of this narrative hanging over their head. So to them, it's like, shucks, we'll get them next year type thing where, well, we've been saying that for 20-something years. So that's why Cowboys fans are pissed, probably more pissed than some of the players, even though they like to say, oh, yeah, you know, we're just as mad about losing. Yeah, okay. I mean, listen, I don't know y'all personally, but okay. All right. That's all I'm going to say is all right.
Dude, I'm going to say this one last thing, and I don't want it to happen. Please believe I do not want it to happen. But you keep hearing about Dan Quinn and all his interviews, right? Nobody's interviewing Kellen Moore. You hear 8-9, 2017.
No. He's getting interviews.
Dan Quinn.
No, he's getting interviews.
Oh, okay, but you're not really hearing it. The name that's getting thrown out there is Dan Quinn. This is my prediction. Kellen Moore's not going anywhere.
We'll talk about that in the mailbag segment.
I know, but I'm just saying, I have seen this movie before. It is scaring the hell out of me because I've seen this movie before. So I hope it's not true. I hope they can really right the ship. I hope he actually takes control and seizes his own destiny. And if he goes out, go out on your own sword, man. Don't let your career go down the toilet and your legacy be tarnished because you didn't have a spine.
You talking about Mike?
I'm talking about Big Mike.
Yeah, see.
That's all I'm saying. If you're gonna go out on your own sword. Don't let somebody stab you in the back.
But Mike already showed me what he gonna be about in regards to having balls in this organization. And I don't mean no offense to the women that are listening to this show. I apologize, but I'm trying I'll say cojones.
You don't offend me, man. I don't offend you.
I'll say cojones. I use those words. He
say
showed
grapefruits like Vince McMahon.
He showed me he ain't got him.
Yeah,
when he took the job, he showed me he ain't got him. So now you got to win in spite that, and I don't know how you do it. So, you know.
But guess what, man? I'm looking forward to draft. I'm looking forward to this mailbag, man, because, again, brothers like you keep me focused. You keep me level. You keep my fandom and my logic in line with one another. So, man, you keep doing what you're doing, bro. I'm going to go ahead and get back to work, man. You take care of yourself. Have a wonderful weekend. Shout out to Cowboy Nation, man. Let's just do what we need to do, get into the draft, because I'm looking forward to the draft because I know Will McClay is going to retool this team. That's something I don't worry about.
Yeah.
That dude's going to do his job.
He's going to do his job.
That's a true alpha.
Absolutely.
True alpha.
Maybe he need to be the head coach. All right, Marcus, I'm going to go ahead and let you go, bro. Appreciate you.
All right. Take care, bro.
My boys in the building. Law Nation in the building. Boss Cowboys Sports in the building. Law Nation said, and I love this, Unsullied Mike. Woo! Hey, that might need to be the new one. I don't give a damn if it makes him mad either. We might have to start a movement to make Mike get his, I don't want to offend no women in here. Unsullied Mike. Anybody that watches Game of Thrones, you know what we're talking about. If you don't know what we're talking about, just type in Unsullied and then read about what they, I don't know, it might be too graphic, but read about what it is. Unsullied Mike. I love it because that's what it feels like to me. I told you, man, that press conference had me looking at him sideways like, hold up. What? You the head coach. You couldn't rest Zeke. Couldn't rest Zeke. We were saying this all year. Couldn't rest Zeke. You think that man upstairs want him to rest Zeke? Kellen Moore, we can take the play calls. Ain't taking the play calls from Kellen Moore. He unsullied. Yo, that is hilarious. I'm not gonna lie to you. Look at his face down here too. I'm coming at Mike, but he deserve it, man. He deserve it. All right, let's get Coach Marv in the building. Coach Marv got fans across the nation. What's up, Coach Marv?
What's going on, Sky?
Hey,
we need to put a show up. All y'all guys need to get together and put a show up says coaching malpractice.
Multiple
this season
problems with that, yeah.
This season was coaching malpractice. And what you do as a coach, and it's not saying I listened to Quinn early in the season, and Quinn said something that I thought the offense will take that same mantra. He said, we evaluate our players, we find out what they do well, and we do that over and over and over again. We don't talk about a scheme. We talk about what our players do well, and we do that over and over again. That didn't happen on the offense. Let me give you some of the lies that Mike McCarthy has told us since he's been here. First, he told us that he watched every game that the Cowboys had, and then he told us, no, I didn't really watch every football game during the season that I wasn't coaching. He has told us several times at press conference about we should run the ball. We need to run the ball.
Got a number and all
Cooper
that
needs
stuff,
to get some more catches. And then what is a lie? Because when you go on the field as a head coach, those things still don't happen. He looked even worse in the interview when he tells us that after the game, Kellen told him that, yeah, we had about 9 or 10 plays that were 8 yards or more on third down. He's not McCarthy is not the ace OC. He's not the defense coordinator. He's not the special teams coordinator. These are the things that he's supposed to have been monitoring during the game to make sure that those things don't occur. That is his job. It's like if you had a quality control guy, and he says, "Oh, after the system blew in a plant, after we didn't get something out. Oh, the guy told me after everything was happening, yeah, we wasn't meeting measures." Well, what were you doing during the whole time of monitoring the measures that you should have been making?
Yeah, and you're referring to him saying, yeah, we had 4 second and 20s and what was it, guys, 8 second and 10s or whatever. Well, I bet you half or more of those were done in the first half. So why not go in the second and halftime and make an adjustment, right? What did we do when we came out in the second half,
I got to tell my offensive
Coach?
coordinator, I want to be in better. We need to be in better yardage.
Right.
I don't care if we do run a play for 3 yards or run in second down and get 3 yards. I need to see my quarterback in 3rd and 4 because we're not doing well in 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 7. Cowboy fans, I'll tell you this, and I'm telling you this, guy. I've coached a long time. And it may not have been professional level, but coaches know coaches, right? Coaching malpractice. These two guys, McCarthy and Kellen Moore, are not going to get us where we're going to get. Now, we can try to talk about how we can try to, talk to them and put stuff out for them to change. They are, if you look at the history of McCarthy, don't get enamored by the Green Bay history. He had a 15-1 year where he went out in the first round of playoffs. He had some hiccups while he was in Green Bay. If you watch this offense at the last half of his time at Green Bay, the reason why Aaron Rodgers was so frustrated because most of the plays that Aaron Rodgers had to make were off schedule, scrambling to the right, making great throws. He made the game harder for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, McCarthy.
Now Aaron Rodgers seems like the game is much easier.
McCarthy admitted to that.
Right.
That's where I'll give him props to that. He said, yeah, I was stale. I needed to change things up in Green Bay. And when he came to Dallas, initially you thought, okay, him giving the reins, I use in quotes, giving the reins to Kellen Moore is him falling back and letting this new age kind of come into fruition. But as we're coming to find out, Coach, Kellen Moore ain't that dude either. So he gave the reins to the wrong dude.
He's not that dude. And if you can't realize that during the season, what great coaches do is they can see problems even in the midst of wins. And they correct them because they know they're going to rear their heads on the biggest stage. And they already foresee what those problems are, and they correct them. But you don't wait till after they have come and reared their head and then go back and say, oh, we need to do this. But every time you say that, you don't have that reflection in your coaches.
I was just about to say.
Coaching malpractice.
I was just about to say, Coach.
Malpractice.
Even when they had time to correct the things that they weren't doing well in losses, right? So if you're going to come out after losses and just talk about it, which they didn't, and say, hey, we got to be better here and there, then be better. Then show that you're going to be better, because you got to the playoffs. You had how many losses in the regular season? 5? You had 5 losses.
5.
All 5 of those losses looked similar. And I'm going to find a graphic, and I'm going to keep putting the graphic up, Coach, because we talked about it last time you were on here. I'm going to read these off to those. Here are the losses. Week 1, I didn't even have up there, but they ran for like 2.9 yards per carry. Didn't run it enough. All right, I get it. They threw it, and if throwing worked, cool, whatever. That's why I took it off. Against Denver, 3.9 yards per carry. Tony only rushed it 4 times. Kansas City, 3.3 yards per carry, 82 yards. Las Vegas, 3.2 yards per carry, 64 yards. Tony only touched it 10 times. Arizona, 2.4 yards per carry. Pollard rushed it 3 times. Against San Fran, less than 3 yards per carry. Tony only touched it 4 times. There is a blueprint for you to get better, and you had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to figure it out, and you never did. You went into the playoffs knowing where you needed to be better, Coach, and they didn't do a damn thing to be better at it.
I got 2 more points, Scott, and let you go.
Mm.
They use it in this about Zeke with the torn PCL, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he was going to be, even if that really hampered him or not. They're using that as an excuse because they didn't want to run the football. Because if you wanted to run the football, you would have gave the ball to Tony Pollard more. You using that as an excuse to say, oh, well, Zeke would have a torn PCL and, he's our main running back, so that's why our running game probably suffered. No, it isn't. That's an excuse because you wanted to pass the ball anyway. Mm. So you use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
So now you say, well, my main running back is not healthy, so we trying to limit his opportunities because we trying to keep him healthy for the playoffs, and we trying to limit Pollard to keep him healthy for the playoffs. You just showed your hand. You got in the playoffs and you didn't use them. So you used that as an excuse all year long that we saving them for the playoffs. But you weren't saving them for the playoffs. Your philosophy was that we want to do it this air raid way, and you're not doing what makes your quarterback successful. Troy Aikman couldn't take this game plan and be successful because he was not Dan Marino. He was not Steve Young. He was Troy Aikman. They made it complex, but he kept it simple, and he became a Hall of Famer. You can make Dak a great, great quarterback if you find the things that he do well, the rhythm of the game that he does well at, and you stick to that. And I would say this last thing about McCarthy when he lost his team. Sky, I'm going to tell you, dude, you said you don't know if he lost a team. But let me ask you this question. If you was in that locker room and you didn't really believe that, because I asked you and y'all this question before, did we think that the offensive players was all bought into the game plan? And if these coaches and all these analysts can show this, I guarantee these players weren't bought in. If you're not bought into the game plan, and then your coach come out and say, no, it wasn't the game plan, you were scared. So every time you get an interview from now on, somebody's going to ask you the question. The first question they're going to ask you,
were you nervous?
Did you have nerves? Can you trust him? He just lost his team. And if Jerry don't know that, because men are never going to follow you anymore if you call me scared and I wasn't scared. It's just because I didn't believe in what you were doing.
Yeah. I mean, he losing me. I tell you that much. The reason why I'm not going to say he did or he didn't, because we don't have a game to go off of anymore. We don't have a report to go off. But if you just want to ask me, because you asked me, he losing me. That's why I said I'm looking at him sideways. So
every interview as soon as the first player have an interview, the first question is going to be asked: did y'all have nerves? From now until every big game next year, they're going to be questioned about their attention, their preparation, or they're ready for the moment. You have just thrown your players under the bus. And somebody's gonna come out and say, was the offense coordinator scared?
I almost said something. Let me just be quiet. Somebody called him Pizza Boy, but yeah, I think Pizza Boy was scared.
So that's in a nutshell. I love what y'all do, Sky. I love what all y'all do. I try to support all of y'all, man, because y'all are true Cowboy fans. I love what y'all doing, but we have to see if this gonna be changed. And I said this on the final word yesterday. The only person gonna be, we said that Jerry's not gonna get rid of Kellen. He's not gonna get rid of McCarthy because those are his boys. The only person, and you were so right, you said Kellen and Dak are too close. The only person that can promote change and get some of the people that's going to make me look good, that has a voice, because he's a quarterback in this league. He's a franchise quarterback. He has to pull the Aaron Rodgers and say, hey, this guy's, I like him, but he's not going to get me where I need to get.
Come on, Dak.
And that's it. That's the only person. Everybody else can be expendable. If your running back said, we get rid of the running back. We say he ain't. If your receiver said, we can get receivers.
And therein lies the problem,
You can't
Coach.
say that to a franchise quarterback because they don't come a dime a dozen.
Therein lies the problem.
And you already invested in him.
You asking a Tiger to change his stripes. Do you think Dak is going to change his stripes?
But you see that if he did, you know he's the only person that can get Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore out of here. He ain't got to go in the public, but he can go in the office and say that.
Sure, but that's what I've been saying for months, is for him to develop that, let me use my button here, that in this system. He ain't got it. Nah, I mean, I haven't seen it yet.
You know something, I think, Sky, he don't know. That's why that y'all content, the Kurt Warner thing, I think Kurt Warner made a very interesting comment in his when he started. I watched that. He said, I hope Dak or some other quarterback can watch this and become better, right? I hope that he sees this. I hope he gets another word from somewhere else in. You know something? Our offense is dumb. Somebody else is saying that. We need to keep putting this content out here about coaches' malpractice. Someone in his camp needs to tell him, say, I know you love.
That's what we need.
I know you love Kellen, but Kellen has gotten you far as you're going to get you. You need somebody that's going to take you to the next level and make the game easier for you, or you going to go right down the tubes with him. And they're going to blame you, Dak, because good players can't take bad coaching.
John Kitna.
Good players can't take bad coaching. And if you take bad coaching for so long, good players turn into mediocre guys.
Saying that forever, man. Coaching matters. Coaching malpractice. Appreciate you, Coach Mar. Really do.
All right, man. Take care, man.
You too, brother. Coaching malpractice. Yeah, we need to hashtag that, Unsullied Mike. We got a lot of heavy hitters in the building. I saw Vosh Lombardi in there. Vosh said, I need one of them earpieces, guy. It made me look like an FBI, don't it? Yeah, we got Unsullied Mike over and out. Yeah, man. Voch in the building. Law in the building. Boss in the building. Coach Mar talking about coaching malpractice. Me and I believe Jesse Holly and I after the Saints game is when we first said that term. This is coaching malpractice, seeing Ezekiel Elliott out there. And we were just talking about Zeke. You know, come to find out, but come to terms with this is more than just Zeke with the coaching malpractice. Because that was in the middle of, okay, what is this offense really doing here? It was in the middle of everything, but we were winning. But we were still questioning, at least on this show and most shows, why is the offense looking completely different than it did? Not even just because the players are in and out, but just schematically, and we're being a bit stubborn in their ways. It's coaching malpractice. Maybe as fans, we made it too complicated in the beginning of the year, thinking like, oh man, we got all these players, do all this fun, cool stuff, and didn't realize maybe we just the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Who are your most explosive guys on offense? Game plan to them, and then when the team adjusts to that, you counter off of it. Allow Dalton Schultz to be a compliment to it. Allow your Michael Gallups to be a compliment to it. Allow your Ced Wilsons to be a compliment to it. Your Zeke or your Tony Pollard, whoever you decide to be one or two. Zeke at the beginning of the year before he got hurt, nobody was questioning his RB1 status. But once he got hurt, clearly you couldn't continue to lean on him in the same manner. So that's where, all right, let's see your counter. Let's see your adjustments. Where did that go? Honestly, what the Cowboys need to get in here, and I mean, y'all, I've been saying this forever, but whatever. You need a coach who's going to be confrontational. Not with the players, with the front office, with Jerry. I think I said this in the offseason. I can't remember. I said, you need a coach that's fire me then. What, Jerry? Fire me then. Because if you're doing your job, you're 6-1, 7-1, whatever it is, and they want you to do something else, or they want you to give the ball to this player or that player, and you don't listen, and you continue to win, who gives a damn? Right? Be confrontational all the way to the Super Bowl. Because I'm telling you something here in Dallas, if you want to continue to be a yes man, that's why I always tell y'all, get me a guy in here that can do it despite or in spite of the front office. If you got to weasel your way in here, which he did, I'm not even mad at Mike McCarthy for weaseling his way in here, but weasel your way in here and then do it the way you want to do it. Right? Don't weasel your way in here and then be a yes man, because that doesn't work here. We talk about the two controversial coaches that altered the path of the Cowboys. Jimmy Johnson, Bill Parcells. Be controversial. Sometimes you're not going to win. Sometimes Terrell Owens is going to get signed. Sometimes you'll go to the Super Bowl and get fired. But in the midst of that, you won Super Bowls. In the midst of that, you found a franchise quarterback. You altered the personnel moving forward with the team, and now you put your organization in position to be in the playoffs year after year. Or be a yes man and turn into Dave Campo and turn into Jason Garrett and turn into Chan Gailey, Wade Phillips. Yeah, you have some success, but you'll never get over the hump because their way doesn't work. We need a controversial coach in here. I don't care if it's the head coach. I don't care if it's the quarterback coach. I don't care if it's the offensive coordinator. Just somebody that can say, fire me. All right, let's take a quick break as we head into this Freeman Mazda mailbag segment. I'm going to come out. Well, I'll get about the first. I think we're going to do 1 and 2 questions, and then we'll get back into the phone line. So real quick, let's get into this Freeman Mazda mailbag segment, and we'll come right out of it with some of the questions. This video is brought to you by Freeman Mazda of Irving, Texas. If you're searching for a new, used, or Mazda certified pre-owned vehicle in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, why not shop at Freeman Mazda? Freeman Mazda of Irving, Texas has been a family-owned and operated business for over 60 years. They have new inventory arriving daily, especially for the new 2021 and 2022 Mazda CX-5. So stop by Freeman Mazda in Irving, Texas today, or visit freemanmazda.net. All right, it's been a while since we did the mailbag segment, huh? It's been a minute. We'll bring that back a lot this offseason. But first up in the mailbag segment, we got G10, and I'm going to put these two together, G10 and Derek 1 on YouTube. These are all YouTube. I wanted to reach out to YouTube yesterday or 2 days ago. He says, should we get a new offense coordinator? If so, who? I like to look at Dan Mullen, Pep Hamilton. Shout out to Pep Hamilton, by the way, the QB Whisperer, and Clint Kubiak, the Shanahan tree. For those that know or follow me on Twitter, by the way, Ask Skywalker still on Twitter. My guy is Mike McDaniels. That would be the San Francisco 49ers run game coordinator / offensive coordinator. Now, he's not really the offensive coordinator. We know Shanahan is their guy, but he is their run game coordinator. He is who I would bring in. Shout out to Pep Hamilton, though. It looks like he just turned down the offensive coordinator job in Carolina, and he's looking to try to possibly take the one in Houston. Clint Kubiak, right? Kubiak is under that Kubiak train, or that tree, which also follows the Shanahan tree, which also follows the LaFleur and McVay and whatnot. I'm always for that. I mean, the Shanahan tree really is where the base of all these LaFleurs and Shanahan's, talking about the son, and McVay's, it comes from. So I've always been fond of that, all the way dating back to Denver. And I know that Shanahan was in San Francisco in the early 90s, but me growing up, I remember the Terrell Davises, right? Who was some of the other? Was it the Andersons and all the running backs that were running for 1,000 yards under Mike Shanahan? It was just a ridiculous amount of them. So I wouldn't mind a Shanahan tree guy. I talked about that on Twitter. But my guy, G10, would be Mike McDaniels. What do you want? Roll the red carpet out there. That scheme knows how to make things easier for your quarterback. And it's tried and proven. So give me anybody under that, under the Cincinnati, under McVay, LaFleur, somebody that's been with those guys for a while. He also has Dan Mullen, who coached Dak Prescott before, but I'd rather not. I'm 10 toes down with that. Give me a guy with a proven system in this league. Now, I want to attach that question with Derek One's question. If Kellen stays in Dallas, what would need to be the change for next year in this offense? Well, I hope he doesn't. But if he does, I think they do need to bring in someone else to help alter, tweak, change this scheme. He needs to be open to change. And change to get better. Not change and he's stubborn and he's like, oh, whatever, this isn't going to work, but Jerry's making me have this guy. No, he needs to be open and accepting of change to make this offense better. That's what needs to change, is Kellen. Kellen only knows Linehan and Jason Garrett. Get someone else in here that's been around other successful schemes that they can implement these things into Kellen's quote-unquote scheme. You can get even more detail and say, bring in an actual run game coordinator. Bring in a former offensive coordinator that knows how to get their stars the ball. But if Kellen stays, what needs to change? Kellen needs to change. And I'm talking about coaching-wise and with schematics and things like that. Personnel, we could talk about the offensive line. We could talk about all that. But I'm just speaking on the system. I'm going to continue to use these because it ain't really a system. Let's just be real. All right, let's get my guy Fresh Fade in the building. What's up, Fresh?
What's good, player?
What's going on, man?
These talks, man, they're deep, man. I love to hear it though, because it's real. I mean, coach was speaking some facts. I think we're at the point where, I mean, I know it's not going to happen, but shit, Jerry's gonna have to make some decisions, man. And I know he likes McCarthy, and I'm sure that he probably doesn't want to do it that quick, and but it's needed at this point because, I mean, the other caller was right. Coach is right, man. The players are they're gonna get questioned. It sounds like they're gonna, I'm sure in the off season they're gonna be like, man, this dude McCarthy, man, he doesn't really knows what he's doing. Shit, even during the season, the players spoke more highly of Dan Quinn than they did Mike McCarthy.
But you would think, Fresh, that he would learn his lesson from Jason Garrett, where he held on to Jason Garrett trying to prove a point that he missed multiple windows, essentially. I hate to use that term window, by the way, because I've seen too many franchises go from nothing to something in a year. So, a window is whatever. You can open and shut a bunch of windows. But you would think he would learn his lesson from holding on to Jason Garrett, who couldn't get you over the hump, who you wanted to be a walk-around head coach, who you also made him an unsullied, I guess, right? And it didn't work. Yeah. You held on for so long. And again, is 2 years too soon? Potentially. But I've seen franchises get rid of a guy a year or two and move on and be successful after that. So there's an opportunity to move on and make a change. And in my opinion, there are candidates out there that I think could come in here and help your team, but it's going to be up to you. We talk about changing. It's going to be up to you to change. And we know the old C now, he ain't changing.
Yeah, man. I mean, if I was the owner of the team, I would fire McCarthy. And I mean, shit. I mean, I'd probably even consider promoting Dan Quinn.
That's what we said at the beginning of this. Like, Dan Quinn's only going to stick around, to me, Fresh, if they fire Mike McCarthy and keep him, and he makes him the head coach. That's the only way I can see him sticking around, unless he looks at all 8 opportunities and say, I don't like none of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, shit. When I look at, just to go on to like coaching matters, man. When I look at the Tennessee Titans, I mean, they're a prime example of coaching matters. When we look at how Ryan Tannehill was at the beginning of his career, I mean, people thought he was a bust.
Mm-hmm.
People thought it was a wrap, man. I mean, but now look, he's efficient. He's making the right decisions because they're putting him in positions to make the right choices, man. And they're running the damn ball. They're running routes outside of play action that
Well, their play action game is deadly.
It's deadly, man. So. I mean, when I hear like, the talking heads like Colin and, all these other people on ESPN and different networks, when they talk about, oh, Dak is average, Dak this, Dak that. I mean, they usually contradict themselves because they talk about coaching on other teams. But then when it comes to the Cowboys, it's like, oh, Dak has to overcome coaching. He's $40 million. He has to overcome coaching. You can't overcome coaching.
Yeah, they'll say
the GOAT,
fans would do it. Fans will contradict themselves. Fans will literally say, 14 penalties, your offensive line suck. You couldn't run the ball. People dropping dropping passes. But Dak, you got to get it done, huh? I guess he does, but that's really hard to overcome. But nonetheless, man, coaching matters. You talked about Tennessee. I'll just talk about the team you just played. That quarterback has been to the Super Bowl. That quarterback just beat you, throwing for 172 yards, an interception. It should have been like 2 or 3 more. He wasn't that great. He made maybe 2 to 3 passes. I don't even know if it was 3. He might have made 2 passes that you said, hey, man, good throw. Other than that, he didn't do anything spectacular. His coach put him in position to succeed. And coaching matters in the playoffs. It does, man. It does. And when and I say this all the time, Fresh, I say this all the time. If it doesn't work out, if your coaches are not good, then I do put some pressure on you to overcome it. And I don't think we have that person, which is maybe 1 or 2 in this league that can overcome that. 1 or 2.
Yeah. What, coaches? Oh, I mean, you mean quarterbacks? Oh,
quarterbacks,
quarterback can overcome it. That's it. Just one. I mean, hell, even Aaron Rodgers couldn't overcome Mike McCarthy.
Well, when we talk about Patrick Mahomes, got to the Super Bowl, he couldn't overcome his offensive line, getting pressured for over 50% of the time.
Oh, yeah. It's facts. And that's going to come to my next point. You may not like it. Fans may not like what I'm about to say because I know everybody likes, there's a certain segment who really likes Amari Cooper and Tank Lawrence and all that. And I get it. I like Tank as well, and Amari Cooper is a really good wide receiver. But you can't all these cute wide receivers, man. It means nothing if you don't have an O-line. It doesn't mean anything. So I mean, I don't know how the cap situation is going to look. I would consider trading either both Cooper and Lawrence, or one of them or something, man, and taking out money and improving the O-line or getting like that's what I would do. I don't know how everybody feels about that. I would really consider it, man, because at the end of the day, we saw it. If pressure's coming on your quarterback, your wide receivers, it's going to be obsolete. Doesn't matter. You got to protect your quarterback, man. You got to protect your quarterback.
So you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm just laughing because this is typical us, right? This is typical Dallas Cowboy fans. coming into the year, we were the exact opposite. It was, man, we need to put the money into the defense. We need to cut this person here and put the money into the D and yada, yada, yada. Now we want to cut the D and put the money into the O. I hear you. I get it. I'm not mad at people's opinions on wanting to get rid of the high price guys. I just disagree. I think those guys are vital to the team. I think if you want to revamp your offensive line, do it via the draft. We talked about, and I think there's a question in there, and I'll bring it back up again. The easiest way to improve the offensive line without doing too much, to me, move Lyle Collins, get him, start the retraining and get him into the left guard situation and put Terrence Steele at right tackle. Boom, you lose no continuity. If you want to improve the center spot, you can do that in the draft. You don't need to go and pay a center. You can do that in the draft. If you want to improve the left tackle spot immediately, maybe you can pay a couple dollars, but you can also do that in the draft. And in that way, you're not really revamping this offensive line wholesale, which could hurt you unless you do it the way that Kansas City did it. And Kansas City did it by throwing money at the situation, right? But I think if you're looking at the long haul, do it via the draft. And you can do it with just one simple move, and you improve your offensive line.
That's true. I mean, you could do that. I mean, I'm just thinking about a scenario because Amari Cooper's still a top receiver, in my opinion. He's a really good receiver. What if a team came to you in the draft at the end of the first round and said, "Hey, we got this first-round draft pick for you. We can take this money off your books and give you a first-round pick. What do you think?" I'm just trying to think about different. I'm always thinking about just different.
Let me just
scenarios.
look at the. I know if we cut them June 1st, we get a lot. But let me just going through the scenario here on a trade. You do save the amount. You save. It'd have to be a post first June 1st. So we'll do a post. Yep, you'd save $20 million. Ooh, that'd be interesting. I don't want to get rid of Amari. I don't. Boy, though. Here's the thing, Fresh. You're doing what I actually would want to do. And this is the funny thing. A lot of people laughed at the Rams. They laughed at them. Said, look at y'all. You traded for Odell Beckham. You traded for Von Miller. It ain't doing nothing. They in the divisional round. They can beat Tampa. They already beat Tampa without Von Miller, without Odell Beckham Jr. So they have the opportunity to go play for the championship. So what I mean is, me, and this is not me, this is not everybody, but me, I'd rather trade the pick for an established player still in his prime or still with juice left, as opposed to trading the established player for said pick, unless that is a high-end pick or something like that. So that's just me. I want to go get the guy that I don't got to wait to develop, as opposed to getting the guy and then waiting 2-3 years for him to develop. So I wouldn't trade him. I just stay where I'm at, take who I'm going to take, and now I still have this Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver instead of getting rid of the Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver. And I only got CeeDee Lamb and who?
I feel you on that. I'm the guy that likes to trade first round picks for defensive guys. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, offensive guys. I get it. I get it both ways.
My man Voss said the Rams organization going to crumble in 2 years. Brother, they've been saying that for the last 4. I mean, when is it going to happen? They've been saying that for the last 4 years when the Rams have been like, yo, forget these picks, man. And I'm not saying every team needs to be that way. Every team can't, the whole league can't operate that in that manner. But the Rams found a way, man. Shout out to their general manager. They found a way. Hey, as long as we hit in these middle rounds, right? I'm good with getting rid of the pick to go get the proven guy. But I mean, let's be real, Cowboys Nation. Would you rather be in the Cowboys situation or the Rams?
But there's a key factor. When you believe in your head coach like that, you can do stuff like that. When you believe in your coaching staff, that's the factor. That's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying it. If we have coaches like McVay, absolutely.
Right.
Go get players. But we don't.
It's not problem. And it's not even just, it doesn't start at McVay. It starts with Les Snead. Because we talk about the organization takes on the CEO's mentality. The CEO's mentality is, damn it, we gonna win by hook or crook. Okay? We not here for play. We're going to win by hook or crook. We're going to be an aggressive organization. So the entire team takes on that mentality from general manager on down to Sean McVay. The Cowboys, which, again, nothing is wrong with the Cowboys do in the sense of their draft. They are, hey, we're going to be homegrown. We don't want to go sign anybody, blah, 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 blah. And we're starting to get into offseason talk, and the same thing is going to come up with me. Y'all going to hear me say this every single offseason. There are 3 pillars to winning consistently and being a championship caliber team that you have to, I don't want to say necessarily win, but be good at. Okay, you got to be good at drafting. It doesn't mean it has to be first, second, right? Just you got to hit. You got to hit at some point in drafting. Yeah. Okay, boom. You have to be good and shrewd in trades and free agency. It doesn't mean spend $200 million via free agency or trade for everybody. I know the Rams are doing that, but you got to be shrewd in it. And I think the Rams have been shrewd in their ability to go out in free agency and into the trade market and win, right? And then obviously you have to be coached well. Though if you can do those 3 things year in, year out, and again, winning a free agency it could be what Dallas Cowboys did this year. Dallas did 2 of those 3 things, right? They hit in the draft, and they did solid in free agency. Now they didn't go to the trade market, right? They didn't do that, but it is what it is. But if you go look at who's left, let's go look at the schedule here, y'all. Bear with me. Some good stuff right now. You got the Titans. They've made a significant trade. A couple of them, really. You got the Packers. They've made some significant off-season free agency.
On defense,
moves.
for defense, for sure. Yeah.
You got the Rams. We know what the Rams did. You got the Bucks. We know what the Bucks did. We got the Chiefs. They've made a ton of trades and free agent signings. We know that, right?
We know that.
The Bills, they went out and got themselves a number 1 wide receiver via trade. You know what I'm saying? So you got majority of the teams that are still playing today, they've done those 3 things in the offseason that we talk about, right? They've done that. So Dallas is never going to be in play for the trades, never going to be in play for free agents. So I don't even really, it is what it is with them. Now they have to find a way to overcome that, because if you want to, again, win a championship in this day and age, homegrown is great, but sometimes you need that extra oomph to get your homegrown over the top.
That's true, man. I think, we're all just trying to, right now we're just throwing shit at the wall, see what sticks, or just, trying to figure out how we can all overcome as a fan base this freaking franchise, man. I've been sitting here sort of just going through different scenarios of how we can.
Yeah, that's what this week is for. That's what this week is for. We're trying to figure this thing out. It's emotional. We just came off the loss. And then we'll move on and try to figure out how we move forward to get better, to, like you said, overcome our deficiencies.
All right. Well, that's all I got, man. You have a good weekend, man. And I'll at you later, man.
Yes, sir. You too, Fresh. Appreciate you. Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. For those that have been here, y'all know I've been on that train for a while. And it's not because it's just some gung-ho philosophy that I believe in. I'm just looking around the league, and I'm like, this team does that. The team does that. This team has been, successful for a number of years. This team, not just successful, but have played for championships. Hell, look at your rival. Granted, lightning in a bottle, whatever. Your rival played the trade and free agency market. Lightning in a bottle, but still, it happened, man. So, Dallas, getting to the offseason, they got to be aggressive, but they won't. I mean, he already came out. Steven already said it, but I'm going to continue to reiterate these type of things because just watch in the offseason. Watch what teams continue to move forward. Watch. And Fresh is absolutely right. It'd be cool. Well, actually, I'm going to flip it on Fresh. I'd be fine being primarily homegrown. No, not primarily. all homegrown. When I say homegrown, I mean they ain't going out here and making these crazy trades. All homegrown and cheap if I believed in my system to get the best out of the homegrown and cheapness. Do y'all believe in Kellen Moore's system to say, you know what, we're going to get rid of our best players because picks? McClay's a beast. Get me wrong. A beast. This hadn't worked yet, though. And we thought it was going to work. I've seen it, including myself. I thought, oh, man, maybe this will work. When it's time to nut up and you get into the postseason, it ain't working. It ain't working. So just pay attention to around the league, man, and how these championship caliber teams operate in the in the off season. There's a couple super chats I ain't get to. Then we'll get back into the mailbag segment.
Super chat.
Here we go. Below the Heavens, thank you for the $9.99 donation. Appreciate you. It says, my tinfoil theory. Jerry is pulling strings to get Kellen Moore interviews so the casual Cowboys fans will think Kellen is a hot commodity to justify him becoming the next head coach. It's already written in my opinion. Interesting.
Super chat.
The truth only. Thank you for the $4.99 donation. Jerry's the problem. It doesn't matter who your coach is. Jerry made sure that Mike keeps Kellen. Jerry is setting Kellen up to be the next JG. Yeah, we talked about that, man. Very Jason Garrett-ish.
Super chat.
And then Cole's Cowboys. Thank you for the $9.99 donation, brother. He says, we can talk about signing big names, but it wouldn't matter. No. Big names. See, that's why I didn't use that term, big names. If we have the same coaching culture that plays weak, we have stars and don't know how to use them. That is true, too. We need change. Yeah. I ain't lying about that part. You're not using them right. All right, let's jump back into the mailbag segment presented by Freeman Mazda. Got Bruce Davis. Sound like a football name. How do you think they will address the offensive line in the offseason? Being loyal to players who really can't play is killing this team. I wouldn't say that's killing this team. It might have been before, but we know it's killing this team. We did a very brief segment on the offensive line. We'll break it down more throughout the offseason in our not state of unit, but hindsight 2021. This is what I think they should do. I don't know what they will do, but I would, like I said, move La'el Collins to left guard, insert Terrence Steele at right tackle. Even if you don't want to get a center, then you at least have continuity in guys that have played with each other. Not bringing back Connor Williams. It never was going to happen to me, but whatever. So if you technically wanted to just go into the season with Tyron Smith, La'el, Tyler Badass, Zach Martin, and Terrence Steele, these guys have been around each other. They play with each other. Initially, you should be fine, but we know what's going to happen. We know Tyron Smith is going to miss a bunch of games that may now, hey, we got to move Terrence Steele to left tackle, and now you got all this movement around. So I'm ripping the Band-Aid. I know this is not what a lot of people want to hear. Again, I wouldn't be mad if Tyron Smith came back. Of course, I would love Tyron Smith to come back and not miss any games. But I'm about ready to start transitioning into my next anchor at left tackle. So find a way to get it. Draft, free agency, whatever. Because Terrence, why I keep saying Terrence? Tyron Smith's availability, I don't have belief in beyond 11 games, 12 games. It used to be 13 I could deal with. I don't even know if he's getting to that anymore. So that's what I would do. Marcus, this was the question I said that we're going to come back to a little bit. Do you believe Mike McCarthy has made himself a lame duck coach by throwing the entire team under the bus in his last interview, calling them nervous before the game? It feels that way. I mean, 3 years was always, I think, the most Cowboys Nation and Jerry was likely going to give Mike McCarthy to get this team over the hump, right? Like, if the season ended in a loss in the playoffs, but the way the offense played was better, maybe we're not having this conversation. If the Cowboys came out better, if this was a back and forth, just classic type of playoff game where the team was, ready and prepared, maybe you're not having this conversation. But the way the team played in the back half of the year offensively and then in the playoffs, pressure's on. I'd consider him a lame. I mean, I know the contract won't. Technically, the contract is what makes a lame duck coach a lame duck coach. But in the eye of public opinion, he would be a lame duck to me. And one of the names that always gets brought up is Sean Payton. And according to Brian Broadus, there is love between the two. It's just a matter of, does Sean want to leave New Orleans where he has total control and come to Dallas where maybe he doesn't? Maybe Sean could be that controversial type. Maybe Jerry, which he's getting older, maybe he says, you know what, man, Sean's been here. Love Sean. His success. He's one of those Super Bowl winning coaches that I want. I'm okay with stepping back a little bit and letting Sean take reins, a la Bill Parcells. Although Jerry was very much involved in those decision-making plans as well. But there was still some controversial, that I talked about, approach to it. And you need that. You need that. So, yeah, I mean, I'd be down for a Sean Payton for sure. Yeah. All right, let's get to A. Hatch. What's up, Hatch?
Man, what's up with it, Skywalker?
I'm
that
good,
last motherfucker was drunk, because I ain't trading my number one run stopper and one of the top pass rushers and my top route runner. Bro, come on, man.
Yeah,
y'all know Steven Jones is gonna do the numbers and drop they cap hit. So stop with all that trying to trade Amari and Law. Y'all just drunk. You know what I'm saying? That just drunk.
No, Fresh just he just frustrated, man. He trying to find a way. He just talking, throwing stuff at the wall, trying to figure it out.
I know, and then I know you're frustrated, but at the same time, use your brain, man. You know what I'm saying? And then, yesterday, man, I saw something on there, man. I'm like you with PFL, man. F them, because I don't know what the hell they think. They gonna rank our offensive line the top ranked offensive line in the NFL. No, don't ever do that and disrespect us like that again. Because that was trash. I don't know what they saying with their eyes.
Yeah, I was surprised actually when I saw that they had Tyron Smith as a 90 grade. I'm like, what did y'all see? And granted, I don't do the grade stuff with PFF, but their stats and their analytics are almost second to none, what you can get statistically from them. But grade wise, they're just people like us that watch every play and then they put their own grade to it. So it is what it is.
Yeah. And then another thing, what I really called in the bed, man, I just had to get on that subject, man. I said a prayer the other night, man. I said, man, I hope Jacksonville really saw something in Kellen Moore and snatched his butt from us. And I pray that Jerry Jones drop off that big old bag to keep Dan Quinn here past the tenure of Mike McCarthy. Replace Kellen Moore as the next go-to and go ahead and give that bag to Dan Quinn and make sure that he got the tenure past Mike McCarthy era. You know what I'm saying? Because Kellen Moore, we waited all this time. He's going to go in this bag. He going to go in this bag. We waited for the bag and we ain't see nothing.
Hey, Hatch.
What's up, guy?
It sound like you swimming underwater, bro.
What's up? Huh?
It sound like you swimming underwater.
Yeah, man.
You at work?
I was. Nah, I'm driving, man.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what that background was. I'm like, man, underwater. Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
It's cool.
But I'm gonna get up out of here, man. You hear that background, man?
Yeah.
We like to go with the flow. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
So appreciate this guy, man. I just had to call in, man. Holler at you, my boy. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna be all right, Cowboys Nation, man. Y'all just calm it down, man. Shit, we gonna be good, man.
Indeed. All right, good brother. Appreciate you, bro. As Lil Wayne would say, Flying with the pigeons, swimming with the flying with the fishes, swimming with the pigeons. That's what sound like my man doing that. Shout out to A Hatch. Yeah, it's frustrating, man. I don't mind y'all being. This is the week in the off season to be frustrated. It is what it is. But at some point, as a creator, we're gonna move forward and we're gonna talk about how you can get better, personnel wise. I mean, you're not looking like coaching wise. Things are changing just yet. Things ain't changing, but we'll get to that part. Back to mailbag. Chevion Wilson. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Do you think that Jerry and Steven sabotaged Amari for getting targets in order to let him walk? Or do you think that Steven will convince Jerry to let Kellen walk and let McCarthy have complete control of the team? Well, let's talk about that last part. Talk about that last part real quick. We think McCarthy will get complete control of this team?
Oh my goodness.
Not a chance in hell. Hey, Chevion, I'm just curious. How old are you? I'm just messing, man. Y'all know I like to rip people. No. Absolutely not. He doesn't even have an ounce of control over this team. No. But now let's just get to the other questions. Do I think that Jerry and Steven sabotage Amari from getting targets? Nah, I don't think it was a sabotage. I told you though, it was real weird how he didn't support Amari. It seemed like in the media, and it would not shock me if they were. That's why I think the question on Mauricio's channel was, would you be very surprised, unsurprised, or not surprised at all if Amari Cooper got traded or cut? I said I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we've seen them do it. Des Bryant and Jalen Smith, DeMarcus Ware. We've seen it, so it wouldn't surprise me. But I don't think that they deliberately sabotage Amari, because I don't think Dak would not throw to Amari deliberately to sabotage him. I just think Kellen Moore's system sucks. It's just flat out. I just think it's a reactionary system. And Amari happened to be just a part of it and not the feature part of it, which is silly to me. Or do I think that Steven will convince Jerry to let Kellen walk? Steven and Jerry, they wanted 2 peas in a pod when it comes to Kellen. That's their guy. No, I don't think they're going to let him walk. And then finally, Samuel Rowe. Are the Niners better than we thought? The Niners are who we thought they were. We let them off the hook. Good defensive team. They run the ball. They got a quarterback that will give you a chance to win the damn game. They are who we thought they were. Nothing more, nothing less. You just came out and got whooped early on. So do I think they're better? Nah. They are what I thought. We let them off the hook. That's right, Kai. Let them off the hook. See, you got people like this. I mean, at what point do we bench Dak? Who was all here the other day when that caller called in? I had to take that out because, boy, man, for those who missed it, you can't go back and see it. I had to get rid of that. My man was ridiculous. It's unbelievably ridiculous. Almost as ridiculous as that. What are we doing? Yeah, I really hope Cowboy fans watch football outside of Dallas. That's all. Just watch football outside of Dallas. Yes, the Dak hate speech special. My goodness. like I was really letting my man go too. Like, yeah, get your hate off, bro. Get your hate off. But then you start saying stupid stuff like, it don't matter if we give Tony Pollard the ball 20 times, he won't get yards. Sir, he almost had 1,000 yards. Barely getting the ball. Saying stuff like Zeke sucks because Dak can't throw the ball beyond 20 yards. I mean, dude, we can talk, we can criticize without you sounding idiotic. And that's why I'm the fan I am, because I don't go far left on either way. I don't want to do that. Yeah, we get caught up in fandom sometimes or whatever, but that ain't fandom. I don't know what that was. Y'all were here? Yeah, that was crazy. All right, man, we're going to end this thing with some calls. Los been holding for a while, and then Uncle Charles. What's up, Los?
Yo, what up, Sky? Good morning, good morning. God bless. I'm not going to go all over the place. I'm going to be strictly to coaching, all right?
All right.
So in my opinion, McCarthy, y'all said it all morning, he lost everyone completely with that press conference.
At least the fans.
Hell, yeah. How the hell are you going to be preached? Like, oh, we're going to get ready for the Super Bowl, but yeah, you're going to be nervous for the first game of the playoffs. No. No.
And even those, right? Like, even if they are nervous, do something to make them not be nervous, right? Like, that's where the leadership comes in.
Exactly. And I think we spoke enough about McCarthy. So let me shift to Kellen Moore. He was a backup quarterback given a chance to have a starting job multiple times that didn't take it, turned offensive quarterback coach that got beat up by Dak Prescott, and he's from Boise State. Boise State, what is that college known for? Other than you might have a chance to get drafted by Steven and Jerry Jones, because apparently a lot of Boise State players love the Cowboys, you know?
You're not lying.
So if we keep Kellen, we are doomed. It's insanity what we're going through, Sky. And everyone has said it. Coaching always matters. You have a 3 to 4 year window to build. And however, with orders, this is how we're different, Sky. With orders coming from the top of who to play, that's almost impossible to build around a team. Like, I think this is not even a conspiracy anymore. But you can damn sure know, like, now Mike McCarthy, I know we're giving Tony a lot of touches around here, but I done paid Zeke like a lot of money right here, and I need him to see the field a little bit, you know. So I can't be looking like a fool out there, you know. No, fuck.
I want me some glory hole.
Yeah, no, man, you can't. We need an offensive coordinator, a coach that will that will basically just simplify everything. We're literally just a coach away from winning it all, Scott. I really do believe that. But the way Dak plays, anyone can call me crazy, but I truly believe he's a top 5 quarterback when the right people are in his ear and making him see the field much easier. When you're trying to play off script and trying to force things, it's almost impossible. Like, how many times did he throw in that San Francisco game, Sky? I know it's about more than 40 and more than Jimmy Garoppolo. And those throwing Dak under the bus, they have a reason to. I mean, yeah, but like I said, it all comes down to coaching, and you can't overcome bad coaching. You can't. So any man that works here and incorporate has to know that if you come here, you said it, Sky, you're going to have to put a foot up, down, you know your what, and be like, you know what, Jerry? I don't give a how much you pay that players. It's not my fault you pay those players. I'm going to pay to win. I'm going to play to win. I'm going to play my best players. If you have a problem with winning, Jerry, then
fire me.
You're not, you know. Yeah, exactly.
That's simple.
Like,
that's why I said, man, you need to get somebody that's controversial. And I don't care if you weasel your way in. Like, I truly didn't care that Mike weaseled his way in as long as he got the damn job done. Don't weasel your way in and then be a yes man. That's whack.
And I will say this. I will give credit to Robert Kraft. As soon as he brought Bill Belichick, he he gave the reins to him, and what he has built over there, you got to give him credit. But like,
of
I just
course
wish
you gotta give him credit. That's 7 whatever super. I mean, what are you talking about? That's a different. They two different owners. There is no owner that is like Jerry Jones. So we know that he's not going to give the reins up and things like that. So what you need is a coach, like I said, that can be controversial. Bill didn't have to be controversial because Robert said, "Do your thing."
Exactly, and I'll leave it with this, man. If I were Jerry. This is me fictionally, all right? This is fictional Jerry, all right? If I had, like, billions of dollars in the world, I would let Kellen Moore walk, fire Mike McCarthy. I would keep Dan Quinn as a head coach.
Yeah.
And I would go heavy. And even if it's not Dan Quinn, if he walks away, these are my top 5 names, all right? Sky, no apparent order, all right? You got Josh McDaniels from New England, Eric, I can't pronounce his last name, from Kansas City, Byron Leftwich from Tampa Bay, Nathaniel Hackett from Green Bay, and my last wild card pick, because he's a defensive coordinator, he's not an offensive guru, is Brian Flores. Those are my top 5 guys I will go hard for.
For what,
it's
head coach?
Land, it's as a head coach. It's a fictional land, but that's my opinion. But hopefully we can just change this culture we have here, Sky, because, man, Sky, we need to be back to that team we were back in the 80s, 70s, and 90s. Because what made the Cowboys so great was the accountability and responsibility to build a winning culture. Not no fucking, we'll make it next year. Apparently, no. You play to win the game. Simple. And I'll leave it with that, Sky. Peace.
All right, man. Appreciate you. I haven't had this one in a while.
I don't like your attitude.
Put on the Jerry Jones. Yeah. Lance said absolutely fiction. Yeah, that's not happening. I mean, listen, the Dan Quinn part, I'm down. I'm down to promote Dan Quinn the head coach. I'm down for it. And here's why I think it'd be different. Well, when I say different, I mean, because he was successful in Atlanta. We pretend he didn't go to the Super Bowl. We pretend he didn't go to the playoffs multiple times. It ended bad, but he was successful in Atlanta. The reason why I think it'd be different here is because he'd likely keep his staff and Joe Witt, et cetera, et cetera. Well, hopefully. I know Joe Witt just got an interview for Seattle, but Joe Witt would be the defensive coordinator in name likely here. And then I think Dan will go get somebody. I would hope he'd go get somebody at offensive coordinator. He went and got Kyle Shanahan. So I trust him going to get an offensive mind better than I trust the damn Dallas Cowboys to go get one. Think about our offensive minds the last decade. Jason Garrett, Scott Linehan, and Kellen Moore. They have not a clue. Me and Voss were talking about this. These boys is not hit and miss, mostly miss coaching-wise. They'll get a good one in here, and then they don't lean on them or let them go somewhere. Eberflus, right? Dan Quinn's in here, but he's likely gone. Sean Payton was in here, he's likely gone. Zim back in the day was here, he's likely gone, or he was gone. So, yeah. I see B. Bird want to get in here. Let me try get you in here, B. Bird. Open this thing up. And come on in, brother. Come on in. All right. My man, Uncle Charles left, so we'll get Rico. What's up, Rico?
Hey, what's going on, Sky? Hey, I was trying to call, I think it was last week, and you had so many callers. You couldn't get to me.
Yeah, that day. That was Monday, I think, wasn't it? Oh, no, it might have been last
Monday?
week. You might have been right. You might have been right, but it was a lot of callers, bro. I couldn't get to everybody.
No. Actually, it was either Monday or Tuesday. It was after the game. So I was calling. I was having a real bad day that day. I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't make the call.
You about to come in here hot, on fire.
No, man. I was actually on a whole. I ended up calling Vach because I just had to get this off my chest. But everybody was kind of tripping out. Everybody was like, Miss Jess got on the line. She was like practically crying, and she was like, people were just really upset about the loss. And I was thinking about it, and I'm sitting here. Actually, these past few months have been really rough for me. I had to go through withdrawals from pain medication at one point. Damn. We all got COVID. me and my wife are getting divorced. I just found out that a real good buddy of mine that I thought he was locked up. It turned out he's been dead the last 5 months, and I didn't even know. Yeah.
Rico?
So I'm sitting here like that day. I actually started tearing up when I was talking to Voch after I didn't talk to you. I'm a little bit more together right now, but I was like, man, things could be worse, right? I mean, a year ago we weren't even supposed to win our division. It was all about Washington, and we our expectations at the beginning of the year weren't that high, and then somewhere along the way, it's like Super Bowl or bust, and I really felt like we just kind of need to like let our emotions, I understand everyone, like, I don't know what happened with Mike McCarthy, or I've just been listening. I don't know what he said, just based on what I've been hearing from you guys. But, it really, we made a step forward in rebuilding our team, right? The culture is different. The things have changed in our team. Things just, I don't know what happened towards the last half of the season. Something happened, but I still think we made a move forward as far as, like, moving forward from what we were in the past couple decades, right?
Sure. I mean,
we're different now.
We move
our
forward.
Team is different.
We move forward from last year.
Yeah, we were 6-10, and now we were 12-5. I know we should have won that game. That we failed, and someone dropped the ball big time. But I still think we had our season was kind of a success compared to where we started at the beginning of the year.
It all depends on your expectations.
I just wanted to share that day. Yeah, I just wanted to share it that day because I'm sitting there like, and even everything that I've been going through, there's people that got it worse than that. So, like, I was like, things could be worse. The season could have been worse. It could have been 6-10. So, I just wanted to share that, and I've been hearing you guys talk. So I don't know what's going on with Mike and everything. You
got a lot on your mind, man. Like, don't worry about that, man. You worry about getting your stuff. You worry
I'm
about
like, man, what's going on for real?
Listen, let me tell you something. Take care of you. Do not let the Dallas Cowboys inflict pain on your mental right now. You got enough things going on, Rico.
Oh, I can't.
Keep your head up, bro. Keep your head up,
I love the Dallas Cowboys. Like, win, lose, or draw, I'm right with them. And really, I kind of get upset when people are bashing. I don't care, like, how bad my coach is or how bad my quarterback is. As long as he's wearing that star, that's my guy. So just kind of be respectful. You can criticize them. Just so some of those people be a little disrespectful. I'll be getting my feelings about that.
I hear you, bro.
Other than that, I try to be, it's just been kind of a thing. I just wanted to say, your show kind of helps me get my day going. So I appreciate that. Like I said, it's been rough, but at least this is like the stable thing that it's like,
damn,
every day I can listen to Sky and kind of not think about what's going on out here. You know what I'm saying? So, just wanted to say thanks on that. And, that's it.
Hey, I'm gonna go. Hey, listen, man. Thank you for being the supporter you are, Rico, bro. That means a whole hell of a lot. It ain't just me. I think I've seen people in the chat here. Prayers are with you. Keep your head up. You got support from the community in Cowboys Nation, Rico. So, you just keep your head up, man. Don't let these boys get to you. Not this week.
Yeah, no, it's a struggle, but
I know every day, bro. Trust me, every day. I hear.
All right,
all right, brother. Be safe.
All right, bye.
Heavy stuff there from Rico. Shoot, man, and when you hear stuff like that, you think you're going through some things, right? You think because everybody is going through stuff, right? But then you hear that, and it kind of puts things into perspective. We all battle demons. I battle them every day. I just don't talk about it here. But and I always say y'all like therapy, real rap. Y'all are. I'm like my co-host. I say that all the time too. And my lady, it's a lot that goes on. But when you hear that, it's like, whew, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot other things around you that you don't know about until you hear it, that puts things into perspective. So keep your head up, Rico. We are here for you, brother. If you want to reach out, man, I'm on Twitter. Obviously I'm here as well. If you just need to rap or just need to vent, just need to get something out. Just to get it out. Sometimes you need that. So we here, man. Cowboys Nation here, brother. All right, I see B Bird did get in here. I'm gonna get to you, but there was somebody else waiting before you, B Bird. I think it might have been 214.
What's going on, Will Still?
What's going on, man?
I got a quick few points right quick. The thing that made me mad, it kind of pissed me off, and it just showed the culture of our team. When Debo Samuel, I don't know if you've seen it, he told Kyle Shanahan in the third quarter, we was at like 16-7, 16-9. I forgot to score. And he said, just give me the ball and I'm going to score. After that, right there when I read that, and he took the ball off that one play, went and scored, it was just like, man, it's just like we are who they said we are. We're soft. We're soft. And I'm not going to solely put that on the defense because they kind of played a good game, but it's just the whole culture. We could change out the coaches. We could change out the players. We could do everything. But until we get that, like you said, that effort, fire me mentality from when Jerry let that coach do come, that effort, fire me mentality, we're not going nowhere. We just need a whole culture change.
What's your name, bro?
You know,
I don't have you saved in here.
Brandon.
Okay, Brandon. All right, I see you. Let me ask you something. You see how Debo, and I'm going to ask the chat this as well. Debo went to Kyle and said, Kyle, let's go.
He didn't even call him coach. He didn't even call him coach.
Said, Kyle, let's go. Get me that ball. As soon as he got it, he scored a touchdown. He said, I told you. Who is that man on the offense side of the ball? Who's that dude? Who's that dude that go to the coach and say, Kellen, pizza boy, pimple face, get me the ball? Who's that man?
We don't have that, man. We don't have that. And it's just it's just gonna be the same song in your boy CD. Don't get me wrong, CD is cool. CD just needs to focus on his game and stop having a damn drop seat. While he's so busy making one catch, wiping his nose, slamming him out, celebrating. You know, cool. I'm like, come on, CD, bro, just make your plays, make the catches, get the yards up. Come on, so we could win the game. Too busy over there trying to celebrate off of one catch. Come on, CD. He's Jerry and then putting the damn 88 jersey on him, boosting his head up. He needs to go back down to humble earth, and you know what I'm saying. So it's just, man, it's a whole. We just dealing with this regular Dallas Cowboys syndrome. You ask me, you know. And it's just going to be the same thing year in and year out, man. We could switch all the players and coaches, but we got to change this culture. We're just too damn soft, man. You're right about that. After reading that, it was just like, I can't do it. After reading that, it was just like, wow. You know, so.
I understand.
So that's all I had. Oh, and then TP and Tony, one more thing, Tony with Tony Pollard too with that. I just been trying to sit here. I've been looking over everything. His touches, and comparing them and, the yards and this, that, and the third, and I just still can't fathom why didn't they play him more. You know what I'm saying? Is it a contractual thing, or I don't but that's yeah, I'm telling you, it's a lot more problems than what everybody thinks. It's a lot of stuff that got to be changed. But I appreciate you taking my call. I'll let you get back with it, Will Still.
Hey, appreciate you, brother. You already know it. Appreciate you, B. Have a good one. You ain't lying. We've been harping the Tony Pollard thing for a long time. I mean, but let me just real quick find this one and bring it back to light. Just bear with me, because there's a theory out there. Oh, well, Tony Pollard wasn't this and wasn't that. Maybe it won't work. Oh, I know what I did last time. I know what I did. It might not work out. Where are you at? Where he's at. I was going to show that Tony Pollard play of him trucking that cornerback. Let me see if it'll work. Yeah, there you go. Let me just move some things so y'all can see him truck that dude. I mean, once I seen him do that, I've been like, give him the ball. Every play. Stop playing with me. You know what I'm saying? Like I guarantee you, if Debo Samuels did that, the offensive line is lit up. Kyle Shanahan, we got to put the ball back in his hands. Yeah, I just don't understand. It's frustrating, man. you would think, all right, I'm gonna let if the whole thought process is, you know what, I'm gonna let Jerry have my, I'm saying, my cojones for the regular season, but once we get to the playoffs, fire me. What you gonna do, me, mother? What you gonna do? Fire me in the playoffs? You know what I mean? You gonna do fire me? Well, we really need you to put the ball in my 21's hands at least 15 times, Kellen. Fire me. I'm putting the ball in the healthy guy's hands that's explosive. Well, you know, we really don't like the cute pre-snap. Fire me. I'm pre-snap motioning. What you gonna do? We won. Yeah, all right. That's why I see it. I let them coach. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. All right, B-Bird, now I can get you in here, bro. What's up, OG?
Hey, what's up, Sky, man? I'm catching your show late, so it could be some things that you've already covered, man.
It's a good one today, man. It's a really good one today.
Yeah, it ain't nothing but therapy this week, man, and I think we all need it, to be honest with you. One thing I'd say that I was a little bit disturbed with hearing that Mike McCarthy said the team was nervous before the game and that he sensed it. That's almost fireable offense, to be honest with you. It's a fireable offense to actually to see it, and it's also one to state it in front of the world, to be honest with you. A little bit of history lesson. Before our second Super Bowl with Jimmy, and I think it was the NFC conference game in Dallas, that was the famous Jimmy said, put it in 3-inch headlines. We're going to win. Do you remember that?
Yep. You know what's funny about that, B-Bird? That was going to be my title going into the Niners game, but I wasn't getting that vibe from Coach McCarthy, so I said, nah, we're not going to do that this week. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing is that, man, a lot of people say this, and I thought I was the only one that caught this, but the looseness of the 49ers coming out to the field when they showed them coming out of the locker room, and then they showed us coming out the locker room, it was a lot more loose and ready to go. And the thing is, the nervousness could come from a couple of things: not having confidence in the game plan, and just not having some dogs in that locker room. But I do want to go back to the 3-inch headline thing. So people don't remember this, and this is kind of where me as an older guy come in. If you go back and read that, Jimmy said the reason why he did it because he sensed nervousness from his team, and not. And he said that afterwards. He said, what I had to do is I had to take the emphasis and put it on me to take it off of those guys, take the pressure off of them. They was feeling the pressure. So I got out there, and now everybody's asking me that question. That's the biggest thing. So they can just go and perform because everything was on me. And so I think and I'll give you an example, man. And this, I know people are going to say this is a very base level example. I coached my son's youth football team, and they were pretty good. Got a couple of, about 5-6 dudes, D1s, one of the better tight ends in the nation. Actually, no, one tight end in the nation played on the team. And so we had a 43-game winning streak. Here is their last game in Little League, and they had a team that we played against that was pretty good. They scored on us like the first series, and I was a defensive coordinator. So, man, they come off the field. They weren't used to being scored on at all that year. The kids are crying, man. Like, I'm like looking at their eyes. They was nervous. They thought they was going to lose. And I started laughing, and it was like my son was on the team. Said, "Dad, what you laughing?" I said, "They're not going to win. That's the last time they're going to score. What y'all crying for?"
Exactly.
I said, "They're not going to win the game. Are you serious?" I said, "Y'all crying? Man, go out there and play football. If they win, it's on me." And we went out there and shut them out. They didn't score again. But you got to sense the team, man, and see what they need. In my mind, give me my reality. I was like, man, them boys scored on us, man. We're going to be in trouble. But I couldn't let them see it. Right. And so the thing about it is that it's no different than when you're on the plane, man, and going through turbulence. Hey, if the flight attendants aren't up nervous, then I ain't nervous. When they get nervous, okay, my nervous is gonna multiply at that point in time. So I feel like that's a fireable offense because he didn't do anything to alleviate the pressure off the team that he saw. And so it's got to be something that you do. And the thing about Jimmy, man, and I always go back to him, is that he was a psychology major or something like that. So he understood people. And for Mike not to understand that and not be able to alleviate that from those guys to me, and put it out there in the public, to me is a fireable offense.
Man, you spot on. You're absolutely spot on, and I love the analogy that you used, and then using the Jimmy situation about he took the pressure off of his team. And that's what made it so frustrating, B-Bird, is listening to the presser. I didn't need to hear you tell me they were nervous. I needed to hear you tell me what you did to get them ready. And you talked about it, and some people in the chat were saying the same thing. You're nervous because you're not prepared. Because think about it.
That's correct.
If you were prepared, if you were confident in your preparation, you wouldn't have nerves to the point where you come out the way you came out. You might have came out, gave up a tutty, but you would have went back down there and got a touchdown, right? All right, cool. Now it's out the way. Y'all came out and didn't score until the second quarter and got absolutely dog-walked in the first quarter to the tune of negative 13 yards total. That's a preparation issue, and that falls on the coach.
Absolutely. And so one of the things I'll go back to is, so we both agree, and I bet the chat would too. The two times that the two coaches that we look back in this franchise with Jerry Jones era is Jimmy Johnson and Bill Parcells.
Bill Parcells, yeah.
So the thing about it, now watch this. If we had to put, I don't really like doing this, but let's just do it, right? If we had to say alpha and beta, if we had to put categories, we only hired 2 alphas. Yeah. All the rest of these guys have been betas or been made to be betas by the money. So one of the biggest thing is with Jerry Jones right now is, for a head coach, it's not, can you win and this, that, and other. Will you allow me to do what I want to do? And so the thing about it is, those two coaches, let's look at some extenuating circumstances onto why he hired him. Bill Parcells was hired only because he wanted to get the bill to the stadium pass. That was captured in a telephone video. If anybody wants to know that, they caught him at the bar talking about it. So the only reason he got that is to get hire Bill Parcells to get that stadium pass. So that was a one time, right? The first time, if you really think about Jimmy Johnson being hired, Jerry Jones didn't know anything about football initially. But when he learned so he had to hire somebody that knew about football and knew all this other stuff. But about 3 or 4 or 5 years, that's when the ego came in, and he was like 500 coaches can coach this team to a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And that's why they always said that, Barry Switzer must be 501. You know what I'm saying? And so those two situations are the only situations that he hired a coach. And the guys may come in, with their mindset, but if you come in and you castigate yourself initially, then you're not going to be able to perform in here, also take over the culture, be respected by the players, because they looking around and saying, wait a minute, who runs this? You know what I'm saying? And so
earlier we touched on that, B-Bird. You said you came in late, but we touched on that, and I said the same thing. No. I'm just reiterating. You got details to a story I didn't know about with the phone call. That's interesting about Bill Parcells. But I said you need a controversial coach. And the 2 times that the Cowboys did that, controversial, alpha, whatever you want to call it, with this organization, was the 2 times that your franchise changed its path into being a perennial threat. And that was Bill Parcells and Jimmy Johnson. Other than that, you had a bunch of yes men. Mike McCarthy, Jason Garrett, Wade Phillips, Dave Campo, and missing one, Chan Gailey.
Yeah, and so that's I think, and I'm not going to stay on this long, and that I think this. The only coach I think fits the criteria the way he feels comfortable with him, has enough clout, to where he can come in, and then after he gets in, make decisions that's contrary to Jerry, and Jerry can't override him because, hey, look here, buddy, I'm coming in. When I come in, I'm coming in with some expectations. That's Sean Payton, man. You have no one else.
We said that earlier too.
That fits the criteria.
We said
I'm
that.
sorry,
earlier.
man. I'm reiterating some things.
It's cool.
I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, Sean Payton was the exactly what you're saying. He's the guy to me that could come in here and be that controversial guy, confrontational guy.
Now, one of the last things I'll tell you, man, is my daughter. I often tell her this. I say, hey, look. I said, you got some people in your school that's a valedictorian, right? And I said, well, name the valedictorian candidates. And she named them. And I said, whoever it is, they're not smarter than me. And then she said, well, how you figure? I said, because I know how to, I said, they know all these, they make a straight A's, right? Yeah. I said, do they know how to pay Wells Fargo? And my daughter said, who's Wells Fargo? See, they don't know how to write a check. Yeah, they smart, book smart, but they ain't life smart. They don't have experience, right? They can't get out here and just handle business like I handle. So yeah, they're book smarter than me, but world smart with me. I'm talking about just gathering knowledge about life over a period of time, just everyday things. They're not smarter than me. I said I'll wear anybody out in your school. I don't care who it is, because they just don't have the time in life that I have. What I mean by that is Kellen Moore might be smart.
I was just about to say Kellen.
But you can't get a guy there now that's just smart and say, hey, you're offense coordinator. Yeah, you're smart, but you haven't come up through other coaches, man. You haven't come up through a bevy of coaches. And I often say this, man, Sean Payton is a guy, and I'm going to tell you about his resume because it came out the right way. Sean Payton is a guy that I think he was quarterback's coach or a quarterback at Tony Romo School. Then he went to some smaller schools and learned from all these different coaches, man. He learned from some coaches. Sean Payton is the guy today because
there's no
of some
doubt
smaller coaches that unknown coaches.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. We Kellen Moore was handed the job, basically didn't deserve it, right? We know the same thing if you think about it with Jason Garrett. It's the same exact. We talked about this the other day. You know, they retire, they become a quarterback's coach for 1 year. The next year, they're offensive coordinators. They never came up, and then. To boot, the one thing you can say about Jason is at least he played in some big games in Super Bowls and things like that. With Kellen was a third-string quarterback. Kellen never played in any big games. He barely threw the ball in general in the NFL, never did anything successfully in the NFL, and then he gets in here and he's coaching the guy that beat him out, and now and they're buddies. It's not going to work. That's not going to work when it comes time to nut up and get into the playoffs and beat quality coach teams.
That's right, and so look at this. So what we're saying is that he didn't get his job off merit, right?
No, he didn't.
Well, let's look at the organization. I'm gonna let you go after this. The GM did not get his job off merit. The vice president did not get his job off merit. Jason Garrett did not get his job off merit. Kellen Moore did not get his job off merit. Man, people understand that you're not supposed to be here. Right, you only reason you're here is for political reasons. You're a plant, man, and so what I'm saying is you can't have that in an organization. What we have to do is get people that earn their way there, right? And so this organization, man, Scott, I can tell you, I know you don't really like talking about this, but we do have to have a cultural change, man. This can't continue to go on, man.
Whoa, I like talking about a cultural change. I don't mind cultural change talk. I don't mind when we start talking about the 70s. That's a whole nother person I used to call it. That ain't got shit to do with right now. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, the thing is that we don't like talking about the given, right? We don't want to talk about the things that we can't change. And Jerry is looking like it's a thing that we can't change. So what we need is, it's no different than this, man. I know I'm giving analogies today, but it's no different than if you see this couple and they're going to counseling or whatever, marital counseling, they telling all their problems, and they've been going to counseling for a year, and then but they made a pact before, hey, we're not going to tell them about the infidelity in our relationship. That counselor ain't going to never be able to fix that problem because that's the root cause of it, right? And so, you know, what we have to do, man, we got to put all these things on the table and just say, hey, this is what's real. So if Jerry's the given, how do we get around that guy? And I'm gonna tell you, it's Sean Payton, man. That's the only thing that we can get. He got to sneak his way in here, and then just come out and be Sean Payton.
I could tell you.
We become Sean.
I could tell you just rolled up in here because I'm saying this. I said the same thing.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry, man.
I said you need a coach who's going to weasel his way in here, tell Jerry everything he wants to hear, and then when he gets here, start doing things his way and win and say, I dare you to fire me. That's the type of coach you need. You don't need a coach that's going to weasel his way in here like McCarthy and then becomes a yes man, because we know that has not been successful. There's only been 2 times in this organization where they've had a coach who's been confrontational or alpha mode, and it's been successful. And it was, like we said, Bill Parcells and Jimmy Johnson. And I don't even think Sean would have to weasel his way in here. Sean has a relationship with this front office that he'll be able to get it. Maybe he might have to do a couple. Sure, Jerry, we'll let you do this and do that. But when he gets here, he does his own thing. You can't complain if you're winning. If you're not winning with Sean Payton, then it is what it is. But I think Sean is the guy if it's next year.
And the thing about it is, I would say this, and I'm gonna let you go after this. It's about the way it's about your entry point. Are you coming in on bended knee trying to beg for the job? Because if you're doing that, then you're not going to get the clout that you need within the organization. You got to stand, and say, hey, look, Jerry, this, that, and the other. But what it is can you stand? Because can you stand the pressure when Jerry tries to get out in the public? When you do some things. But the thing is that Sean Payton's resume stands for itself. And so Jerry wouldn't be able to get by that. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you get these other guys, these Dave Campos, they have no resume. You know what I'm saying? These Sean Gailey's, I don't know if it's Chan Gailey, they have no resume. And so Jerry can, be the big guy there. But if you get a Sean in here, then people look at it and be like, Jerry, what are you talking about? This guy here has been to this many NFC championship games, this many Super Bowls, and coached this quarterback, and we know he's an offensive genius. What are you talking about? And so, man, I just wanted to let you know that, man, and I want to get out of here. Sound like great minds to think alike, man, and it's just that therapy session. I appreciate your show, man. We all need this outlet or whatever. And so I just wanted to let you know I do appreciate you, brother, and you have a good day.
Thanks, OG. That was fire talk from OG. Give him a blue bomb. I can always count on him. See, that's the history I like to hear about you. I know the other person I'm talking about. I like to hear this kind of history with him. There was a lot of nuggets in there that I didn't know about, like recorded conversation aspect of it and things like that. But yeah, man, great minds, man. Great minds think alike. I love the way you put it, because you came through both of those. I came up through the Parcells era. You came up well before that, so you're able to kind of put those two things together. But we're all in agreement, man. This is the type of alpha, the type of attitude, the type of coach you need to have in here. And I'm a conspiracy nut, and I don't really want to talk about this actual conspiracy theory, but just know, politically speaking, I believe there was a person that weaseled his way into a high-ranking official and then did things his way and then paid for it. But things get done that way. Things may have to get done that way, and I think that's what's going to have to happen in Dallas. It seemed like maybe Mike was that guy to weasel his way in here, do things, eventually turn it around, but maybe not, right? Because not even maybe not, definitely not, because he can't even call his own plays, right? He can't even get rid of his offensive coordinator. He doesn't have control over getting rid of the OC, which is wild to me. Your head coach is supposed to hire whom he wants to hire. They said, you know what, McCarthy, F up the defense year one. We don't care about that. Can't get rid of my guy, though. Think about it for a second. How many my guys defensively has Jerry had? He never had a my guy over there. He don't care about defense. Got a my guy offensively. Got my guy, Jason Garrett. Got my guy, Kellen Moore. Last decade, we've went through how many? Countless defensive guys. Lucked into Dan Quinn. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Peter Rizzo says dysfunctional at best. Well, let me go back to what Michael Irvin said. I had the quote here. Find it, y'all. I got these glasses for a reason. I believe it was something that disorder creates dysfunction. There it is. When you have disorder, you get dysfunction. It's heavy. That's heavy because it's true. There is disorder in this organization. We know that. I say it all the time. I know what I'm talking about when I say you got to overcome it. And I keep giving my examples of ways to do it. And that is my example of a way to do it as a coach, man. You just got to have some balls and say, just fire me then. We're going to do it my way. We talked about this last year. I'm going to go down, or 2 years ago. I'm going to go down riding my way. And if it doesn't work, fire me. Cool. If it works, got a Super Bowl out of it, right? Either you can be in your feelings and get rid of me like Jimmy Johnson. I don't give a damn. I'm a folk hero in Dallas. Think about this for a second. If Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl and got fired the following year, or what have you, the following offseason, a month later, Cowboys Nation is going to look at Mike McCarthy and say, thank you, build a statue. He'll be a hero here. Jerry will be the villain. So do it your way if your way works. I'm actually going to end the show on that call because that was a fire call, man. Fire call. Y'all see, yeah, I'm seeing some other things. I'm not going to let y'all talk me into this because we're not going to do that. We're going to end it on how B Bird and OG just ended that right there. We're not gonna go back into the rabbit holes y'all like to go in because y'all figure y'all seem and assume to think one person wins a championship in this here NFL, which is furthest from the truth. Oh wait a minute, boss just texted me, said boss in the building. Okay, well let boss in here. Then we gonna end this show. I didn't know boss was in the building. Let me save you. What up, man? I didn't know that was you.
What up, Scott?
My bad, man. You should have been hit me up. Here, let me save you here.
No, man. You good, man. I just want to talk about maybe some solutions that I think we could all do together.
Sure.
And I just want to just kind of talk to everybody that's supporting the morning show, the best morning show, period, out of all the networks. So one thing I would say is we have to organize. Like, we have to and believe in ourselves as a fan base that we do have a degree of power. It starts with stuff like sharing this content. Like, so everybody that's listening in, the last time I checked, it was over 300 people. So if 300 people shared this to all their favorite groups and put a personal comment about this particular show, which did an amazing job of exposing the dysfunction. And let me tell you the power to me of what just happened today. It's the timing. So the timing of Michael Irvin coming out, with Aikman coming out, with Kurt coming out. Those are all three Hall of Fame voices that actually have way more weight than we do. But then there's also an algorithm behind all of this to where there's trends. So as people forward stuff and post stuff and hashtag stuff, that's how we also put the volume of numbers with the weight of those Hall of Famers voices to cause it to be some kind of vibration, an aftershock to the Cowboys. Is it an absolute? No. But it's something that we should do something because we all know this was a Super Bowl talented team that was wasted and exposed now that it was mostly politics. And if anybody doubt that it works, we got to really just kind of think back of what was going on when the last Jason Garrett was fired. When the last Jason Garrett was fired, the fan base was fully united. It was no more scapegoats. It was no more Scott Linehan's. It was no more Dez that you could blame. We was all focused on the core. So if we, in my opinion, if we all just put in the work together and just do our part, not rest on our hands, not sit back and say, well, it's me, but take action, organize. Sky in this game because he organized his voice. I'm in this game because I organized my voice, and we amplified our voices, but there's also amplification that can happen from shares, from likes. There's a system to this that I think we all should work.
I think your mantra, your voice matters, is awesome because it's true. I think we've seen that a few times, right? Where now with social media, people like us, our content is getting to the media that actually asks these questions to the front office or to the coordinators or whatever. And the example this year, I think, was the Amari Cooper stuff. We here in the community, we've been talking about it for weeks. It wasn't new to us.
Yeah.
We kept saying, what is going on? And then I guarantee you, one of a tweet, a statistic, a clip, a show, whomever, got to somebody in that media room. Then they asked Kellen Moore the question. And I'm glad you clipped it out because it illustrates the issue. And Kellen went on and kept saying, yeah, we got to get them the ball. Or no, he said, we don't want to narrow our focus down to one person. Oh, see, we wouldn't have got that answer if we didn't put the pressure on them to ask that question. So the whole Your Voice Matters movement, that is the example for me this year, because that was a question we have been asking amongst ourselves in the community for weeks, and it finally got asked in December.
Yeah, and it amplified. So and a lot of people don't think they matter. If you don't think you matter, you don't matter. But if you think you matter, you will matter. But it takes action, and I personally believe this. We can't say, players, they quit. Well, you quit, Did you quit is the question. Are you sitting up here crying because we lost? Or should we be thankful that we lost the way that we lost so that we can really get loud about the same old problems, you know? And if we do that, it increases our chances. Is it absolute? No. But do I want to just sit back and just rest and say, okay, it is what it is? Absolutely not. So it's just one of those things to where, man, root for everybody. That's what I would say. Root for the people that's definitely putting out the information that's getting us closer to 6. This show is definitely doing that. The timing is also epic. So I just want to encourage everybody, you know, because I like to respect other podcasters' privacy and, you know, and build a relationship before I be like a call-in like this, even more than I have with Sky and others.
You can
and I know I'm cool, but that's just how I walk.
See, let me tell y'all something, Cowboys
Nation. You know what I'm saying?
He being real humble right now, okay? This ain't no, he could come into the crib, get the Kool-Aid. This ain't no guest stuff. Come on, man. They know, for those that have been here, we did the draft show last year. I thought was absolute fire. So this ain't nothing new here, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And I was just telling you how I try to move with the brothers, you know, just, you know, amongst the community. But at the same time, I also want to just speak to the fans, like all of us together, and it makes a difference. Perfect example was the Amari Cooper, because this is how I see it, Sky, and then, you know, then I just peel out and just, you know, listen to you close out. It's a couple of layers that need to come together. So the podcast community is exposed this absolutely and obvious. But then there's a layer of experienced players and Hall of Famers that's united against Kellen Moore. There's a few of local media people like Brian Broaddus that felt alone, and you can listen to the fan and tell that he was hesitant to really kind of bust slugs at Kellen because that's risky, because we all know that's who's Jerry's boy, the Trojan horse, you know. So everybody walks political. So it's about, to me, we're not uniting the voices and getting the local media, which Jerry listens to. If they stop, because when I listen to the local media, what I'm hearing a lot is Dak. I'm hearing Zeke. I'm hearing why didn't Pollard get snaps. But they're not paying attention, in my opinion, to the Hall of Famers that just spoke. They're not paying attention enough to the podcast community, who's proven the case that it's a system versus playmaker philosophy. You know, they both spelled it out specific, and it's not highlighted in our local media. Like, if you look at what they said, the playmaker said it's all over the league now. It's just what it is, and it's not going to change. I got some theories about that, obviously. I think everybody wants to copycat what works, so people looking at New England and their cheap-ass ways of trying to get talent at the receiver position. That's why Brady left and said, let me go where the weapons are, you know? Or he was going to go out like a chump in New England.
He was.
You know? But he said, let me go where the weapons are so I can finish my career right. And look at him. You know what I'm saying? So everybody copying cat New England. Then we fell into it because Scott Linehan lost Calvin Johnson, but had a good year after that with great receivers, but not a Hall of Fame receivers. Developed this silly philosophy that mirrored New England that, oh, yeah, we don't need a number one. So they came in with a Dez and was like, Dez smash, you know, whatever. Then he got to go. Then we rescued with Cooper. Then it's Cooper Schmooper. We got CeeDee Lamb. And it goes all the way back to these systems that's trying to put it on genius boys versus playmakers.
You heard what Aikman
said. Yeah, they exposed it. So we got to echo that truth, in my opinion, as a whole group.
Well,
I'm going to start it off by I'm going to shut the hell out this show. I'm just telling everybody, I'm going to shut the hell out this show. I'm going to lead the campaign on that. I'm going to share this to 30 groups.
Hold on. We talk about it ad nauseum. I think you talk, the local media won't ask the questions that really need to be asked. I think it's Vach who always jokes about it, man. They don't ask the right questions. I joke about it too. I told Jesse, I said, see, man, they let me in the room. I probably won't last that long because I'm going to ask the questions that we need to really know. But this is probably why it's so hard to get credential in Dallas for the Cowboys, because there is a selective type of media, type of person, type of group that they want to control. And you can hear him owning the radio, essentially, right? I mean, let's just be real. He low-key kind of the mob. I mean, let's just be real. He has pull. If he doesn't like you and the questions that you ask, you're not going to be invited back. So they're not going to get those type of people in there. If he don't like what you say on the radio, you know what he going to say?
Don't like your attitude.
Get your damn act together. I don't like your attitude. How many times has that person, I can't remember what show it was, when he said,
Don't like your attitude.
how many times did he come on here with some hard-nosed questions to get real answers out of Jerry, right? Probably not a lot since then. So, you know, that's just where we're living at. We need this local media, like you said, to put pressure on them too.
We definitely need the local media, because if those dots connect, it's gonna put epic pressure then on Jerry, because he's gonna be personally hearing it, seeing the analytics are registering from us, the people that's sharing, hashtagging, doing all the organized social media stuff, and then he also heard it from guys that won him Super Bowls. That would be a full circle and a whole lot of gas on the fire on Kelly Moore. So I'm gonna do that part, like in terms of sharing it, because talk is cheap. So let's get to work. No days off, and let's get us in a position to get 6. Cause let's also talk about a couple of good things. The big thing is we got Will McClay, y'all. That's for real. We've proven we can get talent. We just got to fix culture now. We not dead, Cowboy Nation. No. We just humbled. You know?
We're always, as long as we got Will McClay, I think we'll always be in contention, especially with this core. But the core can only get you so far. You're not going to win Super Bowls unless you have quality coaching, right? Unless you have quality management. That's just facts. Look at the great Super Bowl teams and organizations that consistently are playing for in January, right? In February now. They are managed well and they are coached well consistently. And for whatever reason in Cowboys Nation, there's a group of fans that they do ignore that. Trust and believe. They put it on one person. It's usually the quarterback, or they'll put it on the running back, or they'll put it on a receiver, or they'll put it on this and that. It takes so much more. I don't know how you can look around the league and sit here and assume that one person is responsible for winning a championship. Do you know how hard it is to win a Super Bowl? I'll tell you. Dan Marino has none. Aaron Rodgers has 1. Drew Brees has 1. Peyton Manning has 1. I ain't giving him the second one. The second one was the defense, but whatever. He was there for the ride. They have, you know what I'm saying? It took a total team and organizational effort to win these things. It's so easy to look around the league and notice that, but for whatever reason here, it's, hey, man, if this person ain't getting it done, it's all that person's fault, and that's goofy to me.
Right. Yeah, can I say one last thing, big bro?
Sure.
Yeah, so Cowboy Nation, I know we all mad at Jerry. I do want us to kind of just pause and take a step back and try to think like Jerry for 1 second. That's hard to do because a lot of us can't even imagine what a billionaire is like. But Jerry has been right so much his life that he's addicted to being right and trusts himself to an unhealthy place. But that's understandable because trusting himself made him a billionaire, made him risk $200 million to take a dead team, got us 3 Super Bowls, took gambles by firing one of our Hall of Fame coaches in Tom Landry and put in a rookie, Jimmy Johnson. He put his nuts on the line. So he used to being right. So when it comes down to somebody like him, we all get mad and it appears to be ego. Sometimes it's ego, sometimes it's confidence, but he has a blind spot. And we have to me, just like, and to finish with this, let's keep the pressure on. Because if he looks at the weight of all of us saying the same thing, then a person with his type of success will reconsider. If we just look at our history, one thing we can all say for sure, under this current regime, when they see their problems, they do solve them fast. Remember we went bad in 2018 because of the swing tackle? Have we had a bad swing tackle since? No. We knew defense was a problem.
But see,
what did we do? Fixed it quick.
They look at problems without a mirror being in front of them. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Put the mirror in front of you, because once you put that mirror in front of you, then you'll realize what the real problem is, and the rest will fall in place.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They see everybody else's problems.
Sure, y'all.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate you, boss, man. That's good stuff, man. And I'm sure,
right, big dog.
like I said about Foots, I'm sure we'll be doing some work in the off season as well. So y'all look out for that.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's nothing but work to do. No days off.
All right, brother.
All right, brother.
Good stuff from Boss, man. Good stuff. And he's right. I mean, they definitely, hey, when they're mirroring in front of them, they definitely, you know what? That's a problem. You go fix that. That's a problem. You go fix that. Yeah. I put that damn mirror in front of you. That's a problem. I need to fix that. If I fix that, I won't need to fix anything else because someone else will do it. And, you know, we talked about Will McClay being the guy. See somebody there say he's general manager. He might be the general, but he ain't the manager. I said this a bunch of times. Will McClay is only allowed to do but so much, and that's essentially be the guy that goes to the grocery store. That's essentially what Will McClay does, and he does it very well. Steven will say, hey, Will, this is the kind of gumbo, this is the recipe that, or this is the meal that we want, the kind of meal that we want. I'm not telling you the exact ingredients to get you to go get, but I'm telling you, this is the price range we can't go over. This is the type we don't want in regards to personality, right? Things like that. But this is the meal. You go get the ingredients that falls under what I require to make the meal. Handicaps you a little bit, right? Like if you know, damn it, if I go get this spice or whatever, it's a couple extra dollars, but man, it might make this thing bomb. No, Will, no, we're not getting that. So Will does what Will can do. He ain't signing the check. He's not signing the check. It's not his say. So I don't agree that he's the general manager. Might be the general, but he ain't the manager. You know what I mean? So, you know, if they would allow him to be the general manager and just let Stephen Jones run the money aspect of trying to be the cap wizard in the sense of, hey, coming to my cap guy, this is who we want. How do we make that work? This is who I want to trade for. How do we make that work? Instead it's this. If Will McClay does legitimately want a guy, hey, this is who we want. Are we allowed to get him? That's what it is. So that's why I don't believe Will McClay is the general manager of this team. Be nice if he was. Man, great show today. Great calls. You're awesome in the chat. I know, like I said earlier in the week, this was going to be the week mostly about therapy. I mean, we'll get to some more probably next week too, but I believe I'm going to start my first series of the off season, and that is Hindsight 2021. Don't hold me on it. Pencil it in. I think that's what I'm going to do, though. And in the middle of all that, I'm going to try to get back into the lab of college. So I'm going to take our draft needs, things like that, and then start looking at some players, researching, talking to my draft guys, getting them on a show in the middle of all of that stuff. But I think the first series I'm going to do is Hindsight 2020. We'll stick to a specific position. I don't know if we'll do one position a show a day. I think we'll do a position, maybe possibly a week. And in that week, maybe in 2-3 days, we'll take care of all the players. So Hindsight 2021, I believe, is what we'll do next week. And as well as me doing my due diligence to understand this draft class so that we can figure out who we want. Yeah, Oscar, Tyler Linderbaum is definitely the most popular name that I have been seeing over for months. And I liked also N'Kobe Dean and Jordan Davis, which I liked last year. I was hoping he came out this year, but that's the low hanging fruit. I understand that, but I'll start to do my homework so that once we get into the draft season, like really get into the on the clock series, I know what the hell's going on. So appreciate y'all for joining. This has been, like I said, man, fire show, absolute fire show. I'll upload the audio for you guys to listen to all weekend because you're probably not going to listen to it in one sitting. So you'll have all weekend to do so. And y'all enjoy your weekend. You know, no Cowboys football. So who y'all got in these games? Let's take a look at that real quick before we go. Bengals, Titans. Who y'all got in Bengals, Titans? Before we get out of here, let's get a little. We got Cowboys Nation. Bengals, Titans. I'm going to be real. I'm biased as hell. I'm rooting for the Tennessee Titans to go all the way to the Super Bowl because of A to Z Sports Nashville. Zach Austin, all those guys down there would be fantastic to see them have that kind of success. It'd be fun. So I'm rooting for the Tennessee Titans in that manner. Are we still here? We are. All right. So I got the Titans in that one. Niners, Packers. Nick, I understand you don't care, but I'm just having some fun here on the way out. Niners, Packers. Who y'all got? Honestly, that's a tough one. Always believed the Niners was a team that can knock somebody off because they have that recipe, that playoff recipe, right? Good defense, running game, but it always ultimately comes down to Aaron Rodgers is on the other side and you got Jimmy G. So if your defense don't come out here and play lights out, I got the Packers. Rams, Bucks. That's a tough one, man. Bucks been playing better, but the Rams, I think, are a better team than they were early in the season when they beat the Bucks. No, I mean, Leonard Fournette may come back to play, I don't know. But no Antonio Brown, no Chris Godwin. It's going to be tough. I'll tell you something right now. If Matt Stafford get to the Super Bowl or win this game and y'all truly don't believe in coaching absolutely mattering, if Jimmy Garoppolo and Matt Stafford are the two quarterbacks in the NFC Championship and y'all truly don't believe coaching matters, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm going to go Rams. I'm going to go Rams. Bills, Chiefs. That's a tough one. I really like Josh Allen. I really like the Bills. They play with swagger. Whew. But the Chiefs are playing some really good ball. Same thing earlier. The Chiefs aren't the same team that the Bills played earlier, but in a good way. Bills whooped on them earlier in the season at home, and they got to go back to Kansas City. Yeah, go back to Kansas City and try to get that victory over there. I think that's actually going to be the best game of the weekend. Bills, Chiefs. I got Chiefs. Damn, that's a tough one. More Chiefs. I'll go with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will pull it out. So those are my picks, man. Titans, Packers, Rams, Chiefs. And on that note, we are going to head on up out of here. Press this button real quick because y'all know how we do. And y'all enjoy y'all weekend. This has been A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness. Your boy Skywalker is out. Enjoy the weekend, man. Hey, I noticed some Niner fans was still here. But why? I don't understand that. But hey, appreciate y'all being here too, man. Keep your heads up. We'll be back, man. We'll be back, Cowboys Nation. Check y'all out on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. We out of here. Peace. Shout out to Stevie Mac, the Mod God.
I want me some glory hole.